From Panther Stadium in Duncanville, a pair of state championship contenders squaring off to settle a district championship. The third-ranked Duncanville Panthers host the ninth-ranked DeSoto Eagles for the District 11 6A title. Next on Friday Night Football. And with that, we welcome you to Duncanville alongside former K-State and Lincoln High linebacker Heckma Harrison. I'm Mike Leslie. Heckma, this game is big every year, but this year a little bigger than most. Both of these teams top 10 in the state, the game of the year across North Texas, and one of the games of the year, period.
Well, you can't use big enough when you talk about Duncanville and DeSoto, and obviously both of these teams have a point to prove. They know that what they're playing for. This is a community game, so everyone's going to be here expecting for both of these teams to give it their best. Obviously, Duncanville and everything that they come with as a program is on deck today, but also DeSoto trying to rise to that stratosphere as Duncanville. They're not backing down.
This is a rematch of last year's 6A D1 Region 2 final. Duncanville won that game 38-20. They've now won 4 straight, Heckma, in this meeting, dating back to 2016 is the last time that DeSoto won a game in this series. That region final last year, the second straight region final that they have met in. These two teams play high-leverage football games all the time.
It almost seems unfair that they have to play each other so many times to get to state. I mean, look, the UIL district, however they assemble it, they didn't do these guys any favors, putting them in the same district and aligning it in the way that they have to go through one another just to make it to the state title. But either way, I think that the way that this is structured, look, I think they would have it no other way.
Yeah, absolutely. This game, not a region final, but rather a district title game. Take a look at the district standings in 11-6A, one of the deepest, most talented districts in the state every single year. This year, though, Duncanville and DeSoto very clearly the class of this district, and they get to settle it today on the field in terms of who's going to be the district champion.
And I'm sure they would have it no other way. That's what I'm saying. This is best on best. This is 5 stars galore all over the field. I mean, and you're talking about some of the who's in Texas high school football. No, in the nation. All right, these are some of the best athletes in the nation, and like right now, this is you can't really side one way or another. Neither team has the advantage, just the reputation of their program.
And if the players aren't good enough, the coaches are fantastic as well. Claude Mathis from DeSoto, Reginald Samples from Duncanville. This is a rivalry that goes back to Samples' days at Skyline. They've been playing each other for a long time, and most of those games in the postseason, most of those games have gone Reginald Samples' way over the course of time. 6-1 in their 7 meetings to date. Tonight, the 8th meeting, and I think Claude Mathis feels like this is maybe his best chance to get another win against Reginald Samples in Duncanville.
You know, they say familiarity breeds contentment, but I don't think so in this situation. I think when we got an opportunity to talk with Coach Claude Mathis, his respect for Coach Reginald Samples was just foremost. He knows what's at stake for his program, but also he just understands that every time he goes against a Reginald Samples coach squad, he know what they're going to bring. And even on the other side, when we talk with Coach Reginald Samples, the way that he talked about Claude Mathis and their respect for one another as 2 African-American coaches in 6A, I mean, it just speaks volumes about them, their program, and just the respect that they have for one another.
Samples said it to us earlier this week. This game is for a district title. This game is for bragging rights in the community. This game is for pride. Everything you would want in a football game wrapped up in this one tonight. Some of the players that are going to make an impact in this football game. Let's get to our players to watch tonight. First for the visiting DeSoto Eagles, it's their quarterback, DJ Bailey.
Look, there really is no one better than Bailey. His ability to throw on the run, he is an asset with his legs as well. I mean, his stats are off the charts. There's just he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. Ball control and security is his main thing, but boy, does he have a bunch of weapons to throw the ball to.
Oh, yeah. When you've got Jonte Cook on the outside, a 5-star on his way to Texas, that does make life easier. But you mentioned not many interceptions. How about only 1 as compared to 29 touchdowns this season? That's a pretty salty ratio. Meanwhile, for the Duncanville Panthers, a guy who's going to be chasing DJ Bailey around tonight, and that's their defensive end, Colin Simmons, a 5-star superstar prospect.
No, really, I think in Texas high school football, for every, Jesse Armstead, for every Sergio Kendall, you have this guy. And he is amongst these elite defensive players, but he's just a junior. So we don't even know if he's reached the pinnacle of how good he's going to be. So I think that's what makes Colin Simmons so scary.
One last thing to talk about real quick before we kick this game off, and that is the weather tonight.
Yep.
Supposed to be raining pretty much all evening. Hopefully we won't see any thunder and lightning. We'll see about that. But rain, regardless, the vast majority of tonight. How do you think that impacts this football game?
Well, you know what? Anytime the weather factors in, it is the speed neutralizer. And that's what I think you worry about, especially with all of these five-star great athletes. This could minimize a lot of that. So strategy is going to come into it, and running the ball as well.
Yeah. How big is this game? Max Preps put out a list earlier this week about the top 10 games in the country, listed this as the #1 high school football game in America this week. DeSoto and Duncanville with a district title on the line. Kickoff is next on Friday Night Football. Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed. Next week, a special Thursday night broadcast as Lovejoy and Melissa play for a district championship. Thursday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
In a world filled with motion, we are the constant. Filled with storms, we are the calm. Filled with uncertainty, we are reassurance. We bring the truth. We bring hope, conviction, a legacy of grit, determination, honesty, and relevant reporting that doesn't just inform, but inspires. We are WFAA.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Y'all-itics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas. So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans. Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand. This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else. Not to brag, but just to brag a little bit. Okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines. Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads. And still counting.
Sometimes, parties can tend to go on slightly longer than planned. For Izzy, that's not a problem at all, since she can now catch the 4, 5, 6, or even 10 p.m. newscasts after they air on the new WFAA+. Party on, kids. Are you a consummate multitasker like Chris Lawrence? Cooking, well, attempting. Dinner for the family while also craving a dose of news? Now you can chop and cook while still tuning in to any live newscast on the new WFAA+.
Your essential local news and weather for free. The WFAA mobile app. Download now.
As we welcome you back to Duncanville's Panther Stadium. Mike Leslie and Heckma Harrison back here with you in the broadcast booth. We are in a slight delay. There was a lightning strike during the pregame festivities, if you will, about 6 o'clock or so. They cleared the field, brought the teams back at 6:30. They did get warmed up for a little bit. Heckma Harrison, now we're starting to see people come back on the field here. They were out for a moment. They're gone right now. I don't think we're far away. I've been told that the national anthem is going to be played here in maybe another 7 or 8 minutes, and we'll get this thing rolling. So we're not that far away, and praying to the weather gods that we do not see any more lightning over the course of the balance of this evening, as we have a fantastic football game on tap that we are just itching to finally get to kickoff for.
Man, I don't want to wait anymore. I'm at that point. I mean, look, it's that Phil Collins song in the air tonight, and you definitely can feel it. the rain as well. I mean, it's going to be cold, wet, and rainy here in Duncanville. But, man, the anticipation for this matchup and all the ramifications as we spoke about in the open, I mean, it really, you can cut the tension out here with a knife, because you could tell both of these programs, they know what's at stake. And I think for DeSoto, they know, as far as the talent level is concerned, this is their year to come into Duncanville and get a victory.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen over the course of the last several years, Duncanville has had DeSoto's number. They won 2 years ago in the regional final, 56-28. They won both games last year on our air during the regular season, 42-21. DeSoto jumped all over them, though, early on in that football game. Led 14-0, but then Duncanville did come back and seize control of that football game. And then Duncanville got them in the regional final as well, 38-20. So it has been a minute since DeSoto has beaten Duncanville. You got to go back to 2016 to find the last time that they won in this series. But like you said, Claude Mathis and his team feel like this may be the year, because they did their talent is. I mean, you're talking about a team that won the state title in 7-on-7 over the course of the summer, because they have so much talent in the skill positions. It's unbelievable, the talent that they have at the skill position. So that's what they think is going to carry the day for.
Hey, and they're thinking about that 2016 victory and what that catapulted them to, and that was a state title. So if fortune is on their side, they feel as though, look, getting a victory here today in Duncanville will get them to that level that they feel like they want to be at, and that's, getting to the state title.
We mentioned it a moment ago in the open. Both of these teams have a bona fide chance to win a state championship this year. DeSoto's almost assuredly going to end up in 6A Division II this year, because Waxahachie's got a very good football team this year. They are very likely to be a playoff team. They have a bigger enrollment than DeSoto, so it's going to be Duncanville and Waxahachie that go 6A D1. DeSoto's going to slide into 6A D2. So that means these two teams are going to be on parallel paths, perhaps to AT&T Stadium, right alongside one another. Duncanville, of course, in 6A D1, DeSoto in 6A D2. Both of these teams could go win state titles this year, and I think they've got expectations that they've got that kind of potential.
Well, and I was happy that you explained that to me, because I was under the impression, even from last year, we saw these two teams reach the semifinals, the quarterfinals, I believe, and have to play one another. And that's unfortunate when you have two teams with the athletes that they have, the size of the schools and all that being the great separator in who goes D1 and who goes D2.
When you look at the way that this game is going to shake out, I mentioned the skill position talent for the DeSoto Eagles. In the interior, it seems like Duncanville still has the edge. They've got the big bodies in the middle. They're going to be able to move some bodies around. And in a game like this, where rain is going to be a factor, you imagine that probably the weather factor benefits Duncanville, I think, tonight.
I would definitely side with you on that, because we know that any team that's coached by Coach Reginald Samples, they're going to run the ball.
Oh, yeah.
And so in these conditions, I look for Duncanville to put that ball in the belly of their running back and just try and seize this moment by moving the chains. Field position, ball control is the kind of game that they love to play. But don't be mistaken. I mean, the Panthers are not the same Panthers of old. They like to throw it around a little bit.
They do, but Caden Durham, their running back, can run the football for days. Four-star recruited all over the country. He can really tote the rock. So if that's the game that this has to be for the Duncanville Panthers, they've got a guy who can do it. I'm just kind of sneaking a peek. We do have the DeSoto Eagles back on the football field. Duncanville we saw go back into the locker room about 15 minutes ago. At this point, they got to be getting close to getting back out on the field. Hopefully we are very close to kickoff of this game that has been so anticipated. We mentioned it a few moments ago in the open. The #1 high school football game in America this week. Think about the thousands of games that there are across the country this week, but Max Preps, the national service, had a ranking of the top 10 games across the country. Included in that was North Shore Atascocita last night, South Lake Carroll Byron Nelson, a game that's being played tonight that our Joe Trahan is out at, and we'll have highlights of that one tonight on WFA News at 10 as part of high school game night. But this was the game that was at the very top of that list as the #1 game in America out of thousands. That's how big this game is.
No place I'd rather be, Mike.
Amen, man.
Amen. You, on the biggest stage for high school football, and when Max Prep says it, obviously the Bible, the gospel of Texas high school football, these guys are really, they've looked around the nation, and it doesn't get any bigger than this, especially where they are offensively. and defensively, but the production that both of these teams have. So, man, really excited and hope, weather permitting, we can get this game started.
If you're watching with us on the WFAA YouTube right now, go ahead and jump into the live chat. Let us know where you're watching from tonight, who you're tuning in to see tonight. If you got a favorite player on either one of these football teams, let us know. We'll get to your comments over the course of the evening, and we'll try and interact with you as we make our way through tonight's football game, because it should be a special one, and I imagine you guys are going to have a few things to say. Weather gods permitting, we're done bloviating. And when we return, we'll have some high school football for you. Duncanville and DeSoto, just moments away here on Friday Night Football. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff. Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, a special Thursday night broadcast as Lovejoy and Melissa play for a district championship. Thursday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
In a world filled with motion, we are the constant. Filled with storms, we are the calm. Filled with uncertainty, we are reassurance. We bring the truth. We bring hope, conviction, a legacy of grit, determination, honesty, and relevant reporting that doesn't just inform, but inspires. We are WFAA.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Yolitics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas. So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans. Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand. This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else. Not to brag, but just to brag a little bit. Okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines. Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads. And still counting.
Sometimes, parties can tend to go on slightly longer than planned. For Izzy, that's not a problem at all, since she can now catch the 4, 5, 6, or even 10 p.m. newscasts after they air on the new WFAA+. Party on, kids. Are you a consummate multitasker like Chris Lawrence? Cooking, well, attempting dinner for the family while also craving a dose of news? Now you can chop and cook while still tuning in to any live newscast on the new WFAA+.
Your essential local news and weather for free. The WFAA mobile app. Download now.
As we welcome you back to Panther Stadium in Duncanville, Mike Leslie and Heckma Harrison back with you in the broadcast booth. Unfortunately, we're still not quite there. DeSoto was out on the field, then left the field again. We're trying to get some information here as to exactly what is happening and when we may kick this football game off, but at least for the moment, we're still in this holding pattern. Hopefully, we are getting significantly closer to kickoff. And again, we've been waiting. We've been anticipating this game all week long. As you get a chance to see, I mean, they got the blow up on the field for DeSoto. You can see the rain driving right now. It is it's going to be wet all night tonight. There's no two ways about that. But hopefully, the lightning has gone away and is no longer in our vicinity, and we'll be able to kick this football game off here in the very near future. Take a look at some of your YouTube comments as we await the kickoff of this football game. David Villarreal saying, "Fly Eagles, fly! Fly Eagles, fly!" DKRD says, "Back in my day, DeSoto and Duncanville were podunk towns." Yeah, not so much anymore.
No.
They have both grown in leaps and bounds. They are both very large 6A schools, especially Duncanville. Jashawn Wofford says, "This is DeSoto football's number 30. Yeah, I know the name very well from our roster, Deshaun. We appreciate you tuning in. Said he's out tonight with a concussion, but couldn't make it to the game. But he said, let them boys know I tuned in. Deshaun, we appreciate you being with us tonight. PT Max 76 says Elijah Wilson is one of her AP US government students, so she wants to see him terrorize the DeSoto offense tonight. We appreciate you tuning in. M. La says, watching from church tonight.
Watching from church.
That's a new one by me. I don't think we've had somebody pop on and say they're watching from church, Ekman Harrison.
Hey, man, that's all I can say. That is dedication at its finest.
That's pretty good. We don't get that very often. Watching from church. We appreciate you tuning in. People tuning in from all over the place. Do please click the like button on this broadcast. Click the subscribe button as well, as we will bring you a high school football game every week here on Friday Night Football. Next week, in fact, we are at Lovejoy for Melissa at Lovejoy. That game, a district championship game. And a game involving, as you see right there on your screen, the 10th ranked team in the state in 5A Division II, the Lovejoy Leopards.
So what we've gotten so far from the press box is there isn't there is no lightning delay going on right now, just for both teams. Obviously, weather. They're taking 20. They'll be on the field and they will start the game in 20 minutes.
Okay, all right.
Is the story that I was told. So at least we have a time, so everyone knows when the kickoff is going to be. But so far, so good. No lightning delays or anything like that. But both coaches obviously concerned about the driving rain that they're coming in, and both agreed to start the game in 20 minutes.
That makes sense, because when we did see the lightning strike at 6 o'clock, both teams, of course, had to vacate the field.
Right.
That stopped everything down in terms of their usual warm-up routine. So I got to imagine on some level there is that concern. I mean, neither of these teams want to see injury. We talked about the promise that both of these programs have. They've got big things in front of them this season. Neither of these teams want to see an injury that's caused by the fact that they had to wait the extra half an hour to kick this game off, or because their warm-up was interrupted.
Well, looking down at the field, and as much as it has rained, if you look at the track, it's starting to puddle a bit on the track, but not so much on the field. And so I think, man, again, when you have a driving rain like this, like you said, injury is one thing that you definitely worry about. But the field here at Duncanville looks to be in good playing condition. Obviously, you won't know that until someone hits the ground and then you see the splash.
Yeah.
All right. And so it's going to be like a big slip and slide out here for 4 quarters. But it's going to come down, Michael, as we talked in the open, because this is the great speed neutralizer. When you play in weather like this, what team can get the running game going? DeSoto obviously is a team that, man, they rely heavily on their passing game, but they are going to have to get their running game going here today. And so getting behind their tailback, DeAndre Ritten, man, he's a guy that is definitely capable and can get those yards. But you look on the other side for Duncanville, I'm always thinking about Malachi Metlock.
Yeah.
A kid that played here last year.
He was a stud for him the last couple of years.
He was a stud, and just the kind of runner that he was. I mean, he was ideal for a situation like this. But Caden Durham, the junior, 5'10", 185 pounds, as you talked about him, a guy that everybody is looking at. So, man, this is going to be very interesting, the way that Coach Claude Mathis plays this. His scheme is completely changed, and he's known all week that it's going to rain on Friday. So really his game plan coming into this, I wonder, what it's going to be so that he can have some success against that stingy Duncanville defense.
He made the point when we talked to him on the phone yesterday that everybody knew what the forecast was going to be for tonight. He said, we made a point to practice out in the rain when it rained heavily on Monday.
Exactly.
Just to be ready for this eventuality, so that they had that opportunity to just experience again having your hand on a wet football. Not that any of these guys haven't played in the rain before, but just to have that recency of understanding what it is to catch the football. I talked with John Tay Cook before the game, and he said it's hard, but he said if you stay focused on that nose of the football, you can still make the catch. You got to go out there, and it's a little more focus. You got to be. You can't be turning to run downfield before you've secured that catch, especially tonight. You shouldn't do that anyway, but you definitely can't do it tonight because of the elements and because of the fact that that's just going to be that much more difficult to catch that football.
Yeah, John Tay Cook, he's just a stud, and he can catch whatever he wants, and he's really just a different beast as when it comes down to a wide receiver. And that's the one thing about this kind of weather that's so disappointing, is that DeSoto can't air it out with all of the weapons that they have. I mean, Dylan Jones, number 88, he's another weapon that they have, that they like to go to this guy in crunch time. But when they're in that red zone situation, there's only one guy that they're looking at, and that's number 1. Jonte Cook. Doesn't matter if you put 2 guys on him, 3 guys on him, he's going to come down with the football.
Give you a quick reset here and update you on the situation. This is Friday Night Football. And actually, before we even get to that, take a look at what's on your screen right now. That is the list of, as best as I could compile it, the best matchups that we have had here on Friday Night Football. And I'm not sure that tonight's game between DeSoto and Duncanville doesn't go to the very top of that list. I think it's this game and that 2020 game between Denton Ryan and Denton Guy are won by Denton Ryan 23-20. Both those teams were ranked nationally in different polls, but both of them ranked in national polls the week of that football game. This week, DeSoto ranked 10th, 11th, 15th in various different national polls. DeSoto 30th and 50th in a couple of different national polls. One of those polls doesn't go beyond 25, so they don't have Duncanville in the USA Today top 25, but I guarantee you they're just on the outside looking in, and a win tonight would jump them into the top 25 probably in all 3 of those rankings. But, I mean, this is, we talked about it earlier, Max Preps called it the number 1 game across the country this week. It's one of the biggest games of the season across the state of Texas, and for my money, it's the number 1 game in North Texas here in 2022.
And you list all of those teams and all of those games. Oh, man, you talk about some instant classics.
Yeah.
That Denton Ryan Geyer game. Think about the amount of players that played in that game that are now playing in college at a high level.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and so you get that tonight as well. I mean, some of these guys that you're going to see tonight will definitely be on your television Saturday morning, Saturday afternoons, and Saturday evenings. I mean, it's a lot of great talent out here, and I don't think that the rain can stop the type of athleticism that you're going to see. So, man, just really excited. I'm sure the many that are waiting on the WFAA Plus app are ready to see this as well.
So to give you an update on where we stand right now, we are probably just a little over 10 minutes away now from kickoff. I think we're targeting a 7:30 kickoff here in Duncanville. We do now have the Duncanville Panthers football team back on the field, or at least as you see there on the track there. They're visible to us, which is a win because that wasn't the case not that long ago. DeSoto not yet back out on the field, but they've been kind of milling around behind the visitor side, so we'll see them probably here in short order. We're getting very close to kickoff. Again, we're thinking 7:30 is when they're going to kick this football game off. A little bit of pregame lightning that disrupted the flow of the warm-up for each of these 2 teams. So both coaches deciding to bump it back a half an hour just to make sure that everybody is warm and ready to play this football game tonight. 2,800 of you with us right now on the WFAA YouTube channel. We do appreciate you being with us here for Duncanville and DeSoto. Get to some of your comments here in the live chat. TA says, "Let's get it, Panthers." K. McGarry says 1998 Duncanville graduate here, says go Panthers. 98, of course, the 1 year that that Duncanville won a state championship was the fall of 1998. Lucius Alexander commenting in the feed as well. Barry Frank noting that we only serve Dallas-Fort Worth. We appreciate you clarifying that. Lucillus Alexander says, "Come out to East Texas and see what happens." Now I'm understanding what he's referencing. I saw a comment from him earlier saying that neither of these 2 teams would beat Longview. Okay. Longview's a very, very good football team. Number 1 in the state in 5A Division 1. I think it'd be a really good football game. Respectfully, I disagree. I think both of these teams win that game. If it were a neutral field against Longview, probably a close game against both teams. I think it's a good football game. I think the 6A of it all, these are 2 schools that have everything at their beck and call. They've got the athletes. They've also got the size. I'm not sure that personally, I haven't seen Longview this year. I think you have.
Yeah, so you said Lucius was the name there. And look, I understand. That's that Beast Texas mentality.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so it ain't backing down from nobody. And Lobos football. Lobo Nation is completely different. But, hey, they have athletes galore out there in Longview. Like, hey, you'd be hard-pressed to run a Longview team on this field and come away with a victory. But, hey, I like the attitude.
I like it. Why not?
I like the attitude.
DJ K-Rob says, thanks for reading the chat. Yeah, we'll jump in here all throughout the football game and see what you guys have to say about the football game tonight. Again, let us know where you're tuning in from tonight, who you're tuning in to see. If you got a favorite player on one of these two football teams, that right there may be your favorite player. That's Colin Simmons, the 5-star defensive end with, just 43 scholarship offers so far and likely to grow in the list of teams that have offered him a scholarship to go to college. Just Alabama, Georgia, the biggest programs in the country.
Mike, I saw Colin Simmons at field level, and he is an impressive-looking athlete. He's a guy that you walk out and you see him and you go, who is that? Oh, yeah. He is that size and stature, and I really can't believe that he is just a junior in high school. This is really scary to think about how good and how big this kid is going to be.
Another look at the comments here. Philly Blue says, City of Champions, let's go Duncanville. Francisco Bernal says, someone from West Texas is going to come say Permian would beat everyone.
I like it.
DJ K-Rob says he's a DeSoto high school student. D. Jack says, appreciate the stream. Will be a great one here. I agree with you. It's going to be a great football game, and we're already pushing 3,000 of you with us right now on the WFAA YouTube channel. I said to Heckma Harrison before we kicked off this football game that this stream was going to set land speed records in terms of viewership, and we're already well on our way with 3,000 of you with us, and we haven't even started the football game yet. This is good stuff. Kevin Miner says, tuning in from Round Rock tonight. Jamil Tucker says, Duncanville champ 98 here, watching all the way from Missouri. Hendro Walker says, I'm here to watch the best running back in the state, CD. Let's go Duncanville. CD, of course, Caden Durham, the 4-star junior running back for the Duncanville Panthers. Heck, but you talked about him a couple minutes ago. He's a really, really talented kid.
Well, they give him all the opportunities to be good in this offense. He is really at 5'10", 185 pounds, he runs a lot bigger than that. Mm-hmm. And he's really tough in between the tackles. But the thing that really is kind of exciting about him is when he's able to capture the edge. His speed to get to the outside and open field speed. Let me tell you, when he gets a step on a guy or two, there ain't no catching CD, Caden Durham.
Another comment here in the YouTube feed. Ref1987800 says, number one North Shore says hi. North Shore, of course, number one in 6A.
Yeah.
Now, that is a different conversation. These really two teams against North Shore, I'm not going to say that they can't win, but that's a more apples-to-apples comparison in terms of you're talking about three monster 6A programs, 3 of the best 10 teams in the state of Texas right now in 6A. That's much more of a conversation.
And those are curse words around here when you say that.
they really are, man.
They're using bad language when you say North Shore in a box at Duncanville. So they know look, anytime these two teams or Duncanville gets to the state championship game, North Shore just seems to find themselves on the other end of it. So
3 times now in the last 4 years.
And I do believe that these guys just believe wholeheartedly that it wouldn't be any other way. And this Duncanville squad fully anticipates seeing North Shore again.
As you can see right there, we now have the DeSoto Eagles out on the football field as well, getting loose. We've got 8 minutes now on the clock, so we've got a little bit more of a direct aiming point to when they're going to kick this football game off. We are nearing closer. Pencil down 7:32 is kickoff time here in Duncanville. Friday Night Football, back after this. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff. Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, a special Thursday night broadcast as Lovejoy and Melissa play for a district championship. Thursday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
In a world filled with motion, we are the constant. Filled with storms, we are the calm. Filled with uncertainty, we are reassurance. We bring the truth. We bring hope, conviction, A legacy of grit, determination, honesty, and relevant reporting that doesn't just inform, but inspires. We are WFAA.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Yolitics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas. So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans. Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand. This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else. Not to brag, but just to brag a little bit. Okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines. Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads. And still counting.
Sometimes, parties can tend to go on slightly longer than planned. For Izzy, that's not a problem at all, since she can now catch the 4, 5, 6, or even 10 p.m. newscasts after they air on the new WFAA+. Party on, kids. Are you a consummate multitasker like Chris Lawrence? Cooking, well, attempting. Dinner for the family while also craving a dose of news? Now you can chop and cook while still tuning in to any live newscast on the new WFAA+.
Your essential local news and weather for free. The WFAA mobile app. Download now.
Back in Duncanville, minutes away from kickoff between DeSoto and Duncanville. Again, 7:32, our projected kickoff time. We are just awaiting this game finally getting underway. It's been a little while since we opened up the broadcast and gave you our players to watch. So let's go through it one more time. On your screen right now there from the Duncanville Panthers, number 8, Colin Simmons, 5-star prospect, 43 scholarship offers, Alabama, Georgia, you name it, they're on the list. This kid is really, really special. Heck.
No, he really is. And he's one of those players that you continuously talk about. You see his name pop up in the Max Preps and in any high school publication about how awesome this kid is and how many offers he has. I think every school in the United States has offered this young man. He's just that good. He's a difference maker and a guy that when you bring him onto campus, you ask yourself, how much more can he grow? As I was saying, he's so young. He's a junior, and at 6'4", 225 pounds, he can stand to put on another 30 pounds, 250, another inch in height, and be 6'5". I mean, you're looking at a prototypical defensive end in the SEC. He has an SEC body.
Yes.
Let me just tell you that right now. And he has an SEC frame. So
and he's got SEC dance moves too.
To boot. So look, man, he's got it all. And he's one of those players that no matter what, even if you don't highlight him, some way he does make it onto your stat sheet and into your highlights, man.
Meanwhile, for the DeSoto Eagles, there he is right there on your screen, number 15, DJ Bailey, their starting quarterback. His numbers this year, Heckma, are outstanding. Over 2,000 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, only 1 interception all this season long. So he has produced and he's protected the football at the same time.
Yeah, 2,000 yards and only 1 interception. And I asked you, was that a typo? Did someone make a mistake? Because clearly, with the amount of games that they've played so far, you would think that he's turned the ball over. Surely, is the amount of times that he's gone back to pass and only have thrown 1 interception. That's outstanding. Mm-hmm. And look. No one's crying for DJ Bailey because of all of the weapons that he has to throw to. I mean, you have a Jonte Cook, a Dylan Jones, a Cedric Harton, a Crimson Mathis. He really does have an embarrassment of riches at the wide receiver position.
Darion Stevens in the comments says 31-24 Duncanville is his pick tonight. Let us know in the comments, who are you picking to win tonight? And when we return on Friday Night Football, finally, mercifully, kickoff between the Eagles and Panthers in what should be a special, special football game. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff. Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, a special Thursday night broadcast as Lovejoy and Melissa play for a district championship. Thursday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA+.
In a world filled with motion, we are the constant. Filled with storms, we are the calm. Filled with uncertainty, we are reassurance. We bring the truth. We bring hope, conviction, a legacy of grit, determination, honesty, and relevant reporting that doesn't just inform, but inspires. We are WFAA.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Yolitics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas. So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans. Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand. This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else. Not to brag, but just to brag a little bit. Okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines. Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads. And still counting.
Sometimes parties can tend to go on slightly longer than planned. For Izzy, that's not a problem at all, since she can now catch the 4, 5, 6, or even 10 p.m. newscasts after they air on the new WFAA+. Party on, kids. Are you a consummate multitasker like Chris Lawrence? Cooking, well, attempting dinner for the family while also craving a dose of news? Now you can chop and cook while still tuning in to any live newscast on the new WFAA+.
Your essential local news and weather for free. The WFAA mobile app. Download now.
Back in Duncanville, time for the coin toss here between the Panthers and the Eagles. Trying to settle out what is really an important circumstance here, Heckma Harrison, in terms of what direction you want to go, how the wind may impact this football game, how the rain may impact this football game. Although I will say, at the moment, it looks like the rain has...
Don't say it.
Yeah,
don't say it. Don't say it.
You all know what the end of the sentence was. I don't want to jinx it.
Don't say it.
Hopefully that actually holds true and remains the case. Looks like DeSoto has won the toss and deferred. Some confusion here whether they've elected to receive. He initially said defer, then signaled receive.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation.
We'll sort that out when we return here on Friday Night Football. Who's got the ball first? We'll be back right after this.
Tonight, presenting the national colors is the Duncanville
To the end zone for South Oak Cliff.
Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, a special Thursday night broadcast as Lovejoy and Melissa play for a district championship. Thursday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA+.
In a world filled with motion, we are the constant. Filled with storms, we are the calm. Filled with uncertainty, we are reassurance. We bring the truth. We bring hope, conviction, a legacy of grit, determination, honesty, and relevant reporting that doesn't just inform, but inspires. We are WFAA.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Yolitics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas. So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans. Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand. This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else. Not to brag, but just to brag a little bit. Okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines. Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads. And still counting.
Sometimes parties can tend to go on slightly longer than planned. For Izzy, that's not a problem at all, since she can now catch the 4, 5, 6, or even 10 p.m. newscasts after they air on the new WFAA+. Party on, kids. Are you a consummate multitasker like Chris Lawrence? Cooking, well, attempting dinner for the family while also craving a dose of news? Now you can chop and cook while still tuning in to any live newscast on the new WFAA+.
Your essential local news and weather for free. The WFAA mobile app. Download now.
This is the game you circle on the calendar before the season begins and count down to all year long. It's finally here. DeSoto and Duncanville on Friday Night Football. It will be DeSoto football to start. Jonte Cook making his way back to help return the kickoff here. So Duncanville will kick it away to open the football game. And Heckma Harrison, it is just about time finally.
Oh, man. You know what? We had our doubts, had our fingers crossed. We prayed to all the gods. We asked all the favors. We made all the sacrifices, Mike Leslie. And here we are finally. This ball's getting ready to get kicked off. Obviously, weather permitting, we can get through this game. I think that's the most important thing, is not only starting it, but getting through it. As you look over the Metroplex, there are so many games that are in a rain delay right now. I mean, the Metroplex is just getting torched.
Yeah.
Well, not torched. It's getting buckets of rain on it. So it's a lot, man. It's a lot to deal with. But right now, we got a football game going.
My wife, the meteorologist, tells me that it should be past us by now. Fingers crossed she is correct. You know how those meteorologists can be. But we are ready to roll here in Duncanville. The Panthers set to kick it away. Sebastian Benitez, their kicker, deep for the DeSoto Eagles. Trey Wisner, he stands at his own 12-yard line. And finally, after all the buildup, all of the drama, all of the waiting, here we go in Duncanville. A kick up the far sideline, fielded at the 24-yard line. Nice cut up field across the 30, and a nice return here by Jamarian Ravenel out near the 40-yard line. And Heckma, it's going to be great starting field position here for the DeSoto Eagles.
No, this is ideal. And Ravenel only had one man to get by right there. Duncanville is really lucky that he didn't escape and walk to the end zone. Because Ravenel definitely, like I said, he only had one man to beat, and that was number 13.
So out comes DeSoto. It will indeed be 1st and 10 right at the 40-yard line, and DJ Bailey will be in shotgun to start the football game. Handoff coming near side. Nice cut upfield by DeAndre Ryden. Flag flies in behind the play, and we've already got swinging fists and everything. There's going to be ejections on the first play of the football game for that one. Dalen Jones mixed up with a player from Duncanville. It looks like it was Vernon Grant III. He's going to be the one who gets flagged here ultimately. And you saw some fist swinging. I'm honestly shocked that there was not an ejection. You see right there in the background, hands got up on each other, some face masks. And it's a little bit outside the frame, but I saw fists swinging there.
Look at this matchup closest to us, boy, and he is right up on Devontae Cook, man. You can see it. They are intense. Coach Samples has to come out and calm his guys down. They know what's going on right now, and it's like I said earlier, you can cut the tension with a knife, and so got to get these things under control so that we don't have any ejections.
It looks like everybody's going to stay on the football field. And it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line in Duncanville territory after the penalty. They may have drawn him offside. Their handoff for Tiger Ryden once again. Good leg drive to get back past the original line of scrimmage. A swarm of red tacklers. And now Colin Simmons getting tangled up on the far side away from the play with Ronell McClain. These are two programs, Heckma, that know each other really, really well. And familiarity breeds contempt sometimes, and we're seeing a little bit of that here in the opening minute of the football game.
No, it absolutely does, and I'll tell you what, the Eagles have a lot of size up front. Rennell McClain is huge, 6'4", 325, but he's got his work cut out for him today.
DJ Bailey to the air for the first time today. Quick throw near side, complete for Jonte Cook. He'll be close to, he will indeed have enough for a first down inside the 30-yard line now.
Yeah, and you see immediately DJ Bailey going right over to Jonte Cook on his first pass. And that is a great reception for the 5-star UT commit.
So 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line now for DeSoto, trying to strike early here. Motion man across the formation is Trey Wisner. Handoff, Tiger Ryden right up the middle. Looks like there may be a flag on the far sideline. I think I'm seeing illegal motion. The initial signal from our line judge tonight.
No, that's going to be a defensive.
Yes, it is.
Offside. So early penalties for the Panthers, costing them in this drive, giving up key yardage to the Eagles. But right now, defensively, boy, I tell you, the Panthers have got to tighten down. Right now, you see Jonte Cook. He is isolated on the outside, man-to-man to Lamadrick Spencer, a guy that we both know can make some plays on that defense.
Looking end zone, Bailey one-on-one, hauled in for the touchdown. What a catch on the far sideline. Cedric Harden hauls it in, and DeSoto strikes first.
DJ Bailey drops a dot. Look at this. Look at the way that this ball falls in. Cedric Harden just walks under it. And that is a great start for the DeSoto Eagles. Deldrick Madison.
Looks like they may be bringing it back on a flag.
Yep,
they
sure
are indeed. After all
man.
of that, the celebration certainly looked like the touchdown was going to stand, and a flag is going to bring all of this back, according to Carl Davis, our referee tonight.
We have to take that one off the highlight reel, Mike. That was awesome.
It was a great throw from DJ Bailey. He did everything he was supposed to do there. But now a timeout called by DeSoto after the penalty takes the 6 points off the board. It has been a little bit of a chippy start to this football game, Heckma Harrison. It has been an emotional start to this football game. On the far side, the DeSoto sidelines hyping up the fans that did make it out tonight. It is a relatively sparse crowd here at Panther Stadium. The rain driving a lot of people away, although at least at the moment, and again, I don't want to jinx it, but we're looking to be pretty good in that regard at the moment. Hopefully it will stay away all night for us, and maybe we'll get a dry football game.
No, and I hope so. And it seemed like right at 7:30, it stopped raining. And not only did it stop raining, it stopped the gusty wind as well. So I don't want to call it a jinx. I'm just saying, you know. It's kind of ironic the way that happened, Mike.
Yeah.
But what a perfect pass from DJ Bailey.
Lauren Callahan in the comments says penalties are flying, settle down. I feel like that's probably the theme on both sidelines right now. Hey, you've gotten your emotions out. Now go play football.
Hey, Lauren is with us every week.
He really is. After the penalty, they reset it 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line. Handoff Ryden up the middle. Good job to break a tackle and get inside the 25 down to the 22. A pickup of 7 on 1st and 10.
Yeah, I like Ryden. I really like his running style. He switches up very well from being a patient runner to being just immediate. He's a twitchy athlete as well, and a guy that can get upfield really quickly.
They give it to him once again here on 2nd down and short. He'll get close right to the 20-yard stripe. It'll be 3rd and 1 on the carry off the left side.
And you know that for this Duncanville defense, led by this defensive coordinator, Ramel Barner, he is someone that will bear down the hatches the closer you get to that red zone area. So look for those little small yards right now on the 3rd and 1 to come about, be really tough for this Eagles offense.
Another flag here right before the snap. DeSoto pointing to Duncanville. We'll see what our officiating crew says. It is offside against the Panthers, and that'll be a free first down.
Well, that's the second one in this first drive for the Panthers.
So 1st and 10 at the 15 now off the penalty. Penalties on both sides, kind of yo-yoing back and forth, but the way it all shakes out is 1st and 10 for the DeSoto Eagles at the 15-yard line. DJ Bailey in shotgun. Crimson Mathis moving right to left. Handoff Ryden once again. This kid runs hard right into 3 red jerseys, but picks up 4 or 5.
Well, and they were waiting on Ryden right there. He's going on that read option, and not a lot of promise there to pick up additional yards. And you're right, man. He is running into a brick wall and not stopping.
Officially a gain of 4 on the play. 2nd down and 6. End zone shot once again for Bailey. Knocked away.
Wow. A lot of hand fighting over that on that far side, and you can see the DeSoto Eagles coaching staff begging for a flag on that side, but none coming as they're trying. Deldrick Madison on the far side over there, number 13.
Deldrick Madison covering Cedric Harden, 13 on 13. Duncanville showing blitz here on 3rd and 7. DJ Bailey backs away, looks to the sideline to their offensive coordinator, Steven Vandermergel. 8 seconds on the play clock. They'll reset the formation. Now 2 wide receivers to his left. 2 on the play clock. Down to 0. And there comes the flag for delay of game.
Oh, that's a big penalty. Big penalty for the Eagles. Backs them up on 3rd down. Just not able to get the play in time. But hey, if you're the DeSoto Eagles, obviously they're looking to try and air this out. So this Panthers defense, they know it. They've been in a 2 safety high look to start this game. They're trying to give DJ Bailey some difficult looks and some tough throws to make.
After the penalty, 3rd down and 12. They're going to have a safety rolled over the top of Jonte Cook. You got to imagine most of the night. Bailey pressured forward, going to take off and try and run for it. Spun down from behind. Ball came out. Cedric Harden, Johnny on the spot to recover it. And it's going to be 4th down. He is going to be shy of the line to gain. It's going to be 4th and about 2.
And it does not look like Coach Claude Mathis is going to run on the field goal team. They're going for it.
Jackson Davis, one of their big tight ends, comes on the field, but no kicker to speak of. They are going to bring the football back to the point of the fumble. Although it was 3rd down, that shouldn't be the case on 3rd down. That should be the case on 4th down. So yeah, now they are moving the sticks on the far sideline. On 4th down, if you fumble the ball forward, it comes back to the point where you fumbled the football. But on 3rd down, where it was recovered is the spot. So it'll be 4th down and officially about 3. They've got to get just outside the 5-yard line to move the chains. Harden in there in Wildcat quarterback. He takes the carry following his blockers, but nowhere to go. Duncanville with the stop.
Yeah, he does not make it. And on that right side, you can tell, man, they are teeing off and making sure that getting that penetration on the Eagles' offensive line, and that is a good job by the front 4 of the Duncanville Panthers. Way to hold in that first drive where, hey, DeSoto had a lot of good things happening for them, Mike, in that drive. A lot of penalties that gave them extra possessions. Man, way to bail them. They bailed themselves out right there, did the Panthers.
You saw Elijah Wilson, their senior linebacker, on his way to Tulsa, coming off the field, very excited that they were able to get that stop. And now out comes the Duncanville offense, 1st and 10 at their own 8-yard line. 2 backs in the backfield here with the sophomore quarterback, Keelan Russell. Motion man across the formation is Lontrell Turner. Handoff coming near side in the hands of Caden Durham. And look at the running room he's got. Caden Durham in a foot race across midfield. They will not chase down Caden Durham. 92 yards to the house for the Duncanville Panthers on the first offensive snap of the game.
Mike Leslie, 2 words. He gone. He is out of there. Look at this run. I told you about him inside running and his ability to get to the outside and the speed. If he has a step on you, there's no way you're going to catch Caden Durham. That is the way that you open a ball game. If you are the Duncanville Panthers, it does not get any better than that.
92 yards on the touchdown run from the junior running back, Caden Durham. Extra point is up and through, and it is a 7-0 start for the Duncanville Panthers. They get the stop defensively on 4th down, and then on the very first play of the offensive series, Caden Durham to the house. Panthers lead at 7-0 mid-first quarter. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff.
Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, a special Thursday night broadcast as Lovejoy and Melissa play for a district championship. Thursday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
Back in Duncanville, 7-0. The Panthers with the lead on the DeSoto Eagles in a top 10 battle here in the state of Texas. The District 11 6A championship game. Duncanville on the board first on a Caden Durham 92-yard touchdown run on the very first play from scrimmage for the Panthers offense after they got the 4th down stop inside their own 10-yard line of the DeSoto offense as Cedric Harden tried to run it off the left side. And they lead at 7-0, Heckma Harrison.
Wow. And I want to give credit where credit is due, and that's to the blocking up front for Caden Durham. I mean, these guys, Josiah Drake and Jerry Scales, doing a wonderful job over there on the left side, blocking up front to allow Caden Durham to have that two-way go. I mean, he had 2 huge holes to run through, deciding to go on the outside.
Another short kickoff fielded by Trey Wisner, banged down at the 37-yard line. Big hit there from Duncanville's Cyrus Moore, and out comes the DeSoto offense. This is the premier matchup in this football game. The DeSoto offense against the Duncanville defense. Duncanville's defense, you see there on the right side of your screen, giving up less than 11 points per game. They held at one point state-ranked and certainly area-ranked Waxahachie to just 7 points. They held Mansfield, area-ranked, to just 3 points. Meanwhile, DeSoto, how about 86 against Mansfield Lake Ridge a couple weeks ago? Back out on the football field are those 2 units. 1st and 10, handoff into the pile. And nothing doing here on the first play of the set for Trey Wisner.
Yeah, I can't say enough about defensive coordinator Ramel Borner. He has, you talk about the players that he's had come through this program for him. I mean, and his specialty is that defensive line. Where they are the toughest at is in the trenches. You will not find a Duncanville Panther team that doesn't have guys up front that are strong at the point of attack. And they do this year in and year out, man. Guys going to the D1, the next level and playing.
2nd down and 9 after the gain of a yard. They try and swing it to the outside to get Wisner in space, but Duncanville there once again. Maybe a gain of 2. It's going to be 3rd down and 7 quickly.
And this is where the Panthers defense is so special. When you want them to turn and run and chase, they have the best pursuit in the state of Texas. So that's their specialty.
3rd and 7, 3 wides to the near side here for DJ Bailey. Straight drop, looking up the far sideline, has a man behind the defense, just overshot Cedric Harden. He had him wide open.
Man, I don't know if there is a communication breakdown, but if DJ Bailey is able to stand in there just a second longer, obviously he has Colin Simmons barreling down on him, but if he can get that pass in, that's a touchdown. And a great answer for the DeSoto Eagles, but just a little overthrown.
And that brings out the punting unit here on 4th down and 7. DeSoto's punter, Angel Diaz, set to kick it away. Davion Blewett, the Duncanville Panthers punt returner. He stands at his own 29-yard line. High snap. Diaz does a nice job to bring it down. He is one of their wide receivers. Sends it up the near sideline, bouncing inside the 35. And out of bounds at the 31. So back comes Duncanville offensively once again. Heckma, 1 play, 1 touchdown, 92 yards. A heck of a start for this Panthers offense. Now they go back to work.
Yeah, and you know what? Right now, I'm gonna put the onus on this DeSoto Eagle defensive line. They're going to have to come out and play tough. When we talked with Coach Claude Mathis about his guys up front, he talked about Marshall Curvin and guys like that up front that he says, look, these guys are really strong. The young guys, and they're young up front, 2 sophomores and a junior. So it's a young group, but he believes in these guys and believes that they are really tough and will withstand what the Panthers bring to them.
First and 10 at the 32 officially. Handoff coming near side once again for Caden Durham. Good stiff arm right at the line of scrimmage and comes to the near sideline after a pickup of 5.
That's what I love so much about Caden Durham and his running style. He just has that great balance. Doesn't take any solid shots, man, and that's what you need to be a running back at any level.
2nd and 5, Durham once again. This time, they're saying the ball came out. We'll see what the officials say here.
No, the
far side line judge never hesitated, hands straight in the air. Jamari and Ravenel trying to make a case that they recovered a fumble there, but instead it's just a gain of 2. It'll be 3rd and 3.
Yeah, that's a good sell, Ravenel. I got the ball. He knows it was down.
He really made a sell at it. He did everything he could to try and make that DeSoto football. 3rd down and 3. 4 wide receivers here for Keelan Russell. Straight drop. Looking near side, has a man complete to Corian Moore, the sophomore superstar. That is a fumble. Loose on the deck, still loose. That ball is recovered by the DeSoto Eagles. Coming away with the football was Devin Jackson, the middle linebacker. DeCorian Moore, the sophomore, got himself open, made a great catch, Heckman, but then put the ball on the deck.
And we talk about DeCorian Moore. He is another really good wide receiver out here for the Duncanville Panthers. And, hey, that's a byproduct of a wet ball. We talk about the weather that's out, that these children are dealing with out here. I don't know, kids, children, young men are dealing with out here. And that's, again, we're going to see a lot of that, the fumbling of the football. So ball security already, you see, could be a problem.
Jamari and Jaden Milliner-Jones, the one who laid the hit that forced the fumble. So now back comes this DeSoto offense. Not much doing on the first play of the series as they handed it off to Jaden Trawick. They've got a 3-headed monster there in the backfield with Trawick, DeAndre White, and Trey Wiseman.
Yeah, they're going to have to try and figure out a way to get this running game going because right now this secondary for the Panthers is so strong.
Duncanville, as you can see there, jumped way off, and they are going to say it is against Duncanville. They induced some movement there from Leon Brigham, but the officials deemed that it was a Duncanville penalty at a free 5 yards here for the DeSoto Eagles. So it'll be 2nd down and 4 after the 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest offsides penalty you're ever going to see in your life.
Yeah.
So no sense in pointing at the offensive guys when you know you were about 4 yards offsides.
I believe a DeSoto fan says, stop running the football. They go to the air here. Quick throw far side. That is Crimson Mathis, the coach's son, picking up the 1st down on the quick screen to the left side.
Yeah, Crimson Mathis, boy, he has some scoop to him, too. Getting to the sticks, and that's a good possession reception. But to answer that question online, they're going to have to run the ball in order to get the Panthers to relax this coverage that they have on the back half. They got to set this up nicely if you're Coach Claude Mathis.
That time it was Trawick on the carry. This is a DeSoto offense that averages 47 points per game and again scored 86 a couple weeks ago against Mansfield Lake Ridge. 2nd down and 9. 8 minutes gone by here in the opening quarter. If you're late in joining us, Duncanville with a 92-yard Caden Durham touchdown run on their first offensive play. 2nd and 9, pressure off the edge. It's Colin Simmons. Got to hold him for a moment, and then here come the reinforcements for the sack, taken down by Jabrion Peters.
Colin Simmons looks like he is shot out of a cannon. And look at that scoop. He gets underneath Leon Brigham. I don't believe that Brigham even was able to get a hand on him.
Clay, can we look at that one more time? Watch the bend from Colin Simmons as he comes around the edge, gets right underneath him.
Man, that is outstanding. And luckily, DJ Moore, if he goes for that ball to punch it out, that is a sack strip fumble for the Panthers. But man, look at that speed. Just a junior. Now you know why everybody in America wants this man.
3rd and 17. They swing it near side for Dalen Jones, trying to get up the sideline on the wide receiver screen, but they're going to say he was out of bounds right at the midfield stripe. Just a gain of 2, and DeSoto's going to have to punt again.
Well, they're lucky right there because he looked like Jones did not look like he stepped out, but there was an official standing right there and obviously got his foot right on the 50. Otherwise, he picks up a first down.
Julio Andrade in the comments here on YouTube says Colin Simmons looking like Micah Parsons.
That's high praise.
It is high praise,
That's
but
high praise.
A high school version of him anyway. Angel Diaz with the punt here. Line drive punt up the middle of the field. Dangerously fielded. Somehow, Duncanville manages to hang on to that football. That was a dicey decision there from Davion Blewett.
Davion Blewett gets that ball because he believes that it goes off of the leg of number 4, DeCorian Moore. That is the only reason why he goes for that. Otherwise, I do not believe. He just allows that thing to roll. But Blewett thought that it hit off of Madison. So it better be sure than sorry.
No doubt. No doubt about that. They take over at their own 19-yard line, 1st and 10. We saw DeSoto move the football down the field on their opening series. These last 2 possessions, though, they haven't been able to move the football hardly at all. 5 wide receiver set here for the sophomore quarterback, Keelan Russell. 4-man rush, pressure off the edge. They get him from behind. He gets away. What a move by Keelan Russell. Fires near side, and now Lontrell Turner's got a ton of room. Turner with a blocker out in front, trying to dance his way away. He was actually tripped up by his own teammate. He and DeCorian Moore got their feet tangled up, and he goes down at the 32-yard line. But what a play by Keelan Russell on the front end.
Yeah, absolutely. Keelan Russell does a wonderful job. This is just a sophomore with the wherewithal to avoid that tackler. The sack, Kiki Abrams, who Coach Claude Mathis said is, man, he is one of those dogs up front that when he gets his pass rush hat on, he is coming after you. That's a good job by Russell, keeping his eyes up the field as well and getting that pass off to Lontrell Turner. And Turner looks like he just gets tackled by the turf monster out here.
It is a huge gain down to officially the 33-yard line, and after that play, DeSoto calls their second timeout here. Beg your pardon, the first timeout was called by Duncanville, so DeSoto's first time. So both teams have now used a timeout here in the opening half. And I got to imagine this is Claude Mathis trying to get his guys to, all right, settle down. I know things have not exactly gone our way in the opening 9 minutes and 18 seconds of this football game, but we're still right there. We almost made a play. I got to imagine that's kind of the speech right now from Claude Mathis, trying to keep his guys up.
Well, here it is in the second quarter. You don't want to give up 14 points to Duncanville. And the reason being is that their defense is suffocating.
Yes.
It really is. And you're down by 14. That's really the only – they just need a lead to do what they want to do to you.
Another 5 wide receiver set over the middle. Turner complete, breaks a tackle. Chased down from behind by Wesley Hudson. Otherwise, he had nothing but green grass in front of him.
What kind of balance does this kid have? I mean, Lontrell Turner does a pirouette with a guy on him and then picks up the first down.
1st and 10 at the 23. Handoff Durham, right tackle. Lowers his shoulder and picks up 4.
And that's what I'm saying about CD. He does that, man. In between the tackles, he is such a tough runner. But we just saw him, man. He's a guy that will bounce it out and find the edge and walk the dog on you. So for this DeSoto Eagles defense, they've got to be on pins and needles every time number 29 gets the ball.
A gain of 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 7 as we tick under 2 minutes to play here in the opening quarter. We do appreciate you being with us on the WFA YouTube channel. Again, let us know where you're tuning in from, who you're tuning in to see tonight. If you got a favorite player on one of these 2 teams, perhaps it's Lontrell Turner who makes the catch here. Ball came out again, but they're going to say he was down prior to the fumble. Gain of about 3. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Yeah, and that Lontrell Turner, he is tough. 5'11", 180 pounds. I mean, in a perfect world, he plays running back as well, but he's that slot receiver type and a guy that can get out on you. another one of those glitchy wide receivers that these guys have. I almost said SMU Mustangs, and then look at this red out here that the Duncanville Panthers have. I mean, he's just one of those fast-moving guys.
The talent gap between SMU and Duncanville is probably not all that big.
It's real close. It's real close.
3rd and 4. Russell, straight drop, pressure in his face, trying to dance away. Gets to the sideline, fires downfield, dangerous throw, knocked away, incomplete. It'll be 4th down and 4.
Yeah, and that is a pass that I promise you, once they get Keelan Russell back over to the sideline, they're going to tell him that is a great big no-no.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a great big no-no. You do not do that. I know you believe in your athletes and that you are a superior athlete, but those throws like that, man, they are disaster for any quarterback. Across your body, back to the middle of the field. 99% of the time, that's intercepted.
Cayman Mathis was there trying to leap for the interception. There were a couple of white jerseys in the area. Russell fortunate that fell incomplete. 4th down and 4. They've got to get to the 13-yard line for a 1st down. 2 wides to his right. He rolls that way, but whistles before the snap. It looks like this is going to be a Duncanville timeout. Christopher Hayes in the YouTube comments says he's tuning in from Massachusetts tonight. Geyer Guy says he's tuning in from the Denton-Geyer area. I wouldn't have guessed. Alexia Janaya says, show 88 some love. Zachary Turner, he's a freshman. Yes, ma'am. You are talking about one super talented freshman. 6'3", 190 pounds. Heckma doesn't look like a freshman, but already getting some SEC and Big 12 offers in his first year of varsity football. Reginald Sample says he's going to be big time.
Yeah, and that was some praise that he heaped on him. Just talking about him as a young man, saying that he's just a good young man, in the classroom, in the community, but a beast once he puts that helmet on. He described another play.
You know, it's funny you bring that up, because I said to him when we were on the phone the other day, I said, listen, we've talked to 18 coaches this year. This is the most important question I'm going to ask of any of the 18 coaches all year long, because you're the only one I can ask this question. I said, give me the scouting report on Heckma Harrison at Lincoln High back in the day, because if our listening audience, if our viewing audience is not aware, Heckma Harrison, the first ever Division I recruit to play under Reginald Samples back at Lincoln back in the 90s. He had a lot of very nice things to say about Heckma Harrison. We'll get to that after 4th down and 4 here. Not to make you wait too much longer, my friend. But this is a rather important play. Fake the handoff to Durham. Russell over the middle. Knocked away. Right on time with the pass breakup was DeMichael Porter, and it's a 4th down stop for DeSoto.
Hey, what a stop by DeMichael Porter, because if he is not there, this is a walk-in touchdown. Look at that. I mean, he gets there simultaneously with the ball. It's either deflected or get the interception. Does a wonderful job, because Caleb Kenny looked like he had that ball.
Caleb Kenny had the ball in his breadbasket. And here came the hit from DeMichael Porter to dislodge it, and it's a 4th down stop now for DeSoto. We saw Duncanville get a 4th down stop after a long DeSoto drive, and on the very first play of the next series, Duncanville went 92 yards to the house. Let's see what DeSoto can do on the first play of the set. Handoff, Tiger Ryden into the pile. Give him about 3.5 on the carry. To finish the point about young Heckma Harrison at Lincoln High back in the day, as you let your hair flap in the breeze. Let me make sure that I've got this quote correct. He said, it was a pleasure coaching you, and you were a good young man. He said, sometimes you forget the good football players. You never forget the good young men, as Day-Day Jones makes the catch and gets close to 1st down yardage here for the DeSoto Eagles. He said Heckma came off as a nice guy. If you talk to him, he would come off as more reverent than he was on the field. He said he was actually pretty tough on the field, kind of had a mean streak on the field. It's hard to imagine you, Heckma Harrison, with a mean streak.
I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. But no, man, I really appreciated that. And obviously, Coach Samples is, I owe him my life, man. He is a great man, and one of the men that has helped shape and mold me. And so I say that, but let me tell you something, Mike. I am one of thousands of Reginald Sample's sons that are out there looking at this game right now. So to be considered amongst all of the young men men that were coached by Reginald Samples, I'm really lucky and blessed and fortunate.
After the incompletion there to Cedric Harden, 2nd down and 10. Handoff up the middle once again here for DeAndre Ryden, the sophomore. Give him 3 on the carry. It's going to be 3rd down and 7. We've seen Steven Vandenbergel, the DeSoto offensive coordinator, stay kind of dedicated to this run game. We'll finish that point when we return on Friday Night Football, because that is 1 quarter in the books. Duncanville with a 7-0 lead on DeSoto. 3rd and 7 for the Eagles when we return. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff.
Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, a special Thursday night broadcast as Lovejoy and Melissa play for a district championship. Thursday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
5,900 of you with us right now on the WFAA YouTube channel. We do appreciate you being with us here for Friday Night Football. We said it earlier tonight, Max Preps labeled this the #1 high school football game in America this week. No argument from me.
No.
2 of the top 10 teams in the state, Heckma Harrison, and a district championship on the line.
No, and it doesn't get any bigger than that, than this in North Texas. Just the athletes that are out there. There's so many stars out here, and just superior athletes in Division 6A. Man, this is something else to behold. And I think if you're DeSoto, you know, they've come into this game right now, and it looks like that's a delay of game.
Out of the quarter break?
No, they must have called timeout. They had to. I would hope.
You would think you wouldn't need to burn a timeout coming out of the quarter break either. They are going to say timeout DeSoto.
Timeout DeSoto.
So that will avoid the 5-yard penalty, because the back judge did drop the flag there for delay of game, but our referee saying that DeSoto got the timeout in there before the flag was dropped. I'll give you our officials tonight one more time. It is a Dallas-based crew. Carl Davis, our referee tonight. Damian Kaiser, the umpire. Joe Baker, the head linesman. James St. Peter, our line judge. Brandon Rusher, the field judge. Tony Cleveland, the side judge. And Matthew Lowen, the back judge. We were making the point there before we went to break. They've stayed dedicated to running the football. You mentioned that they need to do that on some level because they have to keep this Duncanville defense honest, but where they have their largest number of playmakers is on the outside. You got to figure out a way to get Jonte Cook unlocked a little bit. Crimson Mathis, Dalen Jones, Cedric Harden. They got some athletes on the outside. How do they make that happen?
Well, I mean, right now, Romel Barner they're suffocating these guys in the inside, and with their pass rush, they are getting home with these guys up front, and they're blitzing. They're moving these guys in and out. So, you know, Bailey's having to make a decision on the throw, and he makes a great one right there as you talk about Jonte Cook. Those quick throws are going to be important, because here's the thing that Duncanville and I guess I don't want to call it arrogance, but confidence in their DBs. They're staying man-to-man on these guys. They're not traveling anybody. So either side he goes to, they figure they have an athlete over there that can contain Cook.
Speaking of, Jonte Cook lowering his shoulder and picking up a few yards. A little extra push after the play there from Vernon Grant as he went right through the chest of Lamadrick Spencer. Look at the aggression right here to pick up an extra 3 or 4 yards, and then you see the aftermath of the play as well. It's chippy out there. Don't get it twisted. These two teams don't like each other very much. 2nd down and 5. Quick throw far side. Dalen Jones will have enough for the first down. Just barely, but enough. And that'll move the chains. Yeah, and he'll make sure everybody knows it.
Absolutely. And for Claude Mathis, Coach Claude Mathis, this is like a running play as well. I mean, this is you're throwing it out there, you're getting the ball into the hands of your playmakers, and you're saying, "God, go make a play." Okay, but what they're going to do is they're going to start to bring those corners up close and make that throw difficult. And that's why, look, they're just trying to get the Panthers defense just to back off a little bit.
Yeah. DeAndre Ryden with the carry right there and lowers his shoulder and twists for a couple more. Gain of 4 on the play. 2nd down and 6. They'll give it right back to him, and that's a punishing run from DeAndre Ryden. Give him 5 on the carry, and that fired up the DeSoto sideline.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was on Eli Wallace, 6'1", 225 pounds.
That is a violent run.
Oh, yeah, it is.
From a sophomore Tiger ride, 3rd and 1. Bailey to the air. He'll take off and run for it, slide down, gets hammered. That will draw a flag every single time. And now here comes the DeSoto offensive line to defend their quarterback because DJ Bailey just got annihilated. Eli Wallace was the one who made the hit. He was the young man who just took a face full of DeAndre Ryden on the previous snap. Looked like he wanted to get his share of things, and that's a play that you absolutely cannot make.
No.
That is helmet to helmet. That is targeting. No two ways about it. That is an absolute play that you cannot make. And now the concern becomes the health of DJ Bailey. Personal foul, targeting against Eli Wallace.
Personal foul, targeting call against number 7, Eli Wallace.
That is as targeting gets.
Yeah, that by definition. The next question is he ejected?
That is the discussion. Now, one of the key kind of quirks of the way that the rules transfer from the UIL rule book is the Division I college football rule book. The one aspect here that is, and now we're going to get perhaps some clarity on exactly that, because they have not yet signaled that he's ejected. Holding against the defense, and then the dead ball, personal foul, targeting. They have still yet to make a motion that he is ejected. I do not see Eli Wallace on the field presently. So in the college game, every targeting is immediately reviewed to decide whether or not the ejection portion of the penalty should stand. They don't have the luxury of review, and there you see DJ Bailey walking off and being held onto by a DeSoto assistant coach. You just hope that he's okay.
Because he took a heck of a shot, man.
Yes, he did. And his helmet popped off in the process. Armory Williams Hall, the sophomore, is DeSoto's backup quarterback. I have not yet been able to spot Eli Wallace on the field since the play wound down. I don't believe he's on the field presently as the 11 players on the field for Duncanville.
But they did not signal an ejection either, so.
No.
That's a curious case.
We'll look to get some clarity on that as we press forward here, but the penalty, as you can see, is going to walk the football all the way down to the 17-yard line in Duncanville territory. And it looks like DJ Bailey's going to stay in the football game. That is indeed Bailey there in at quarterback, in shotgun, here on 1st and 10 from the 17. Crimson Mathis across the formation in motion. Quick throw near side for Crimson Mathis. He makes the catch, makes a man miss inside the 10, dragged down from behind by Duncanville's Elijah Wilson.
And I like this game plan right now for Coach Mathis, spreading this defense out, getting those long runs or those pass plays out on the outside to allow his athletes to make a move in one-on-one situations.
A gain of about 2 on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and a yard now here for DeSoto as they try to answer back. Hayden Durham opened this football game with a 92-yard touchdown run just a few minutes in to make it 7-0. DeSoto now with 3rd and 1 at the 8-yard line. Quick throw near side. Cedric Harden bobbled it, incomplete. That was a forward pass, no fumble.
That's
but
close.
It's now 4th and 1.
God, that was close, and you could see the way that Panthers defense reacted. They thought it was close as well.
Certainly smart to go jump on it just in case.
That's going to bring up a big 4th down. Think about both of these teams have a 4th down in the same part of the field. And yet, the DeSoto Eagles with an opportunity on a 4th and 1 to pick up a first down.
It's going to be Bailey in shotgun. Riding to his left. They've got to get to the 7-yard line to move the chains. Harden in motion. They're going to go to the air. Bailey looking over the middle. Incomplete. He tried to find Dalen Jones in the end zone, but it's knocked away by Tyron Polley. And for the second time in the first half, Duncanville's defense comes up with a big 4th down stop.
Man, I am so impressed at the job that these guys are doing up front. But in the secondary, way to cover and not allow any easy throws for DJ Bailey. They just walled these guys off over the top. And just didn't allow. All he needed was 1 yard. And DJ Bailey, for all the time that he had, could have ran for the first down. But after the shot that he took, man, he's probably not ready to take any more punishment.
So for the second time tonight, Duncanville's defense with a 4th down stop right at the 8-yard line. That's where they take over once again. They had a 92-yard Caden Durham touchdown run the first time. This time, a bit more reasonable 8-yard run from Caden Durham out to the 16.
And look at number 53, Noah Ponce, just doing a good job from his center position, pulling out and getting a block on the outside that sprung Caden Durham.
Durham with the carry there for about 2.5 on 2nd and 2, so that'll move the chains out to the 19-yard line. Here goes Duncanville.
Durham on the right side, first down.
2 4th down stops inside the 10-yard line by the Duncanville defense in this first half to keep DeSoto off the board and make that Caden Durham 92-yard touchdown run stand up so far. 5 wides here for Russell. Has space on the far side. He's holding up, and now they're stopping the play.
Yeah, I was like,
that was an awful long way into the play to then all of a sudden stop it.
Hey, a lot of action.
I've never seen a play get that far along and then get stopped. And it's going to be a false start against Duncanville. Okay. That's the latest false start stoppage I have ever seen. 214 Juan in the YouTube comments says DeSoto needs to wake up for real. A chance here perhaps on 1st and 15 after the penalty. 2 wides to the left here for Keelan Russell. Play clock down to 8 as he looks to the near sideline to offensive coordinator Todd Peterman and his staff. Play action fake, rolling left side. Russell. Chase from behind, fires low, incomplete, they'll say on the far sideline. It'll be 2nd and 15.
And I'm loving, you know what, Mike, I really am loving Todd Peterman's offense. He is changing up the speed. They go hurry up, then they slow it down. They're going heavy run, then they switch it in with some pass. I love the balance right now for the Duncanville Panthers, who in the past, I think you looked at them as just a team that just ran the ball, and if you forced them to throw, they throw it. But this is a new day, and I love the functionality of this offense.
Todd Peterman, their offensive coordinator this year, and Duncanville's going to call timeout here. It looked like the entire offense realized something was wrong. Even Caden Durham was signaling for the timeout. But Todd Peterman taking over as the offensive coordinator for Duncanville, the former head coach at DeSoto. I'm sure all 6,200 of you that are watching with us right now on the WFA YouTube channel know all too well Todd Peterman's resume at DeSoto. Led them to the one state championship in program history back in 2016. So that's an interesting little wrinkle in this football game that he's now coaching for the Panthers.
That's a little fishy, Mike. That's a little fishy, Mike.
I'm not going to go as far as fishy, but
no, I'll go there.
It's intriguing.
Yeah, it is intriguing. I mean, you think about this Peterman that, obviously the players that were there are gone. A lot of the staff, those guys are gone. But he is familiar. And when we talk with Coach Claude Mathis about it, he says, look, man, we all know each other really well. So it's not really a hard time getting prepared for these guys. You know exactly what they want to do.
So out of the timeout, it's going to be 2nd down and 15. See a comment here from KT Lloyd on YouTube, says he wants to see Duncanville versus Denton Guyer. You're not going to see that. You very, frankly, likely will see DeSoto and Denton Guyer in the state semifinals in about 6 weeks' time. Right up the middle goes Durham again, and it's a foot race again. And they're not going to chase down Caden Durham again. Give him 86 yards this time for the 2nd time tonight. Durham with the house call.
This is just amazing running from the running back position for Caden Durham. Man, we talked about him at the opening and his ability to do just that. Like I said, Mike, he is a tough inside runner, a guy that goes in between the tackles really well, but he can spring it outside, but don't fool yourself. In a foot race, nobody's catching him.
Nobody did. Jamarian Ravenel was doing his best to chase him down, but couldn't hunt him down from behind. Now a flag here on the PAT is going to dock Duncanville 5 yards.
And what a job by this offensive line. Josiah Drake and Jerry Scales on that left side. And Noah Ponce, the senior. So tough up front, and this is a senior group. One junior, Damian Martinez, the only junior up front for this Duncanville offensive line. Man, this is a lot of tenure up front.
So after the penalty, the PAT misses wide to the left. No good. It will remain 13-0. So perhaps might that point be important as the game presses forward. But the Duncanville Panthers with another gash right up the middle from Caden Durham. 86 yards for the touchdown, and they lead at 13-zip mid-second quarter.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Y'all-itics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas. So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans.
Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand.
This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else.
Not to brag.
Just to brag a little bit.
Okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines.
Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads.
And still counting.
Back in Duncanville, 13-0 our score now in favor of the Panthers. 2 Caden Durham touchdown runs to open up this 13-0 lead. Trying to get some clarity on whether or not Eli Wallace was ejected for that hit on DJ Bailey on the last DeSoto possession. Still haven't gotten any clarity on it yet, but we've got somebody trying to track down that information for us, so we'll get that to you as soon as we've got it. Dalen Jones here on the return gets it out to the 32-yard line.
So we just got the word that he is ejected.
Okay, okay. So we saw, obviously, the big hit there from Eli Wallace. He was called for targeting. And number 7 from Duncanville, their starting middle linebacker, who's got 5 offers on the table. Ejected for that hit on DJ Bailey.
And you know what, for Wallace, it all started when DeAndre Britton, on that run, when you saw he took that shot, and I don't think he liked that very much, and then comes right back the next play. It was a dirty play. You know, you just don't have to play it like that. But unfortunate for number 7, Eli Wallace, that he has been ejected from this contest.
The incompletion on the quick throw to the far side sets up 2nd down and 10 here for the DeSoto Eagles. It'll be a 4 wide receiver set here for DJ Bailey. Handoff up the middle here for Trey Wisner, picking his way for about 4. Again, they have stayed patient and dedicated to this run game, and they've been able to pick up 3- and 4-yard chunks, sometimes 5-yard chunks. It hasn't been ineffective for them, but they've just found themselves a number of times now in these 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8 situations where they've got to make a play to keep the offense on the field.
Well, Ryden and Wisner have been doing a wonderful job. I mean, both of them have been effective, and they've just ran tough. It's just that, you know, when they need to try and pick up that extra yard, it's just this Duncanville defensive line is denying them as we get an offsides penalty for the DeSoto Eagles. Talk about shooting yourself in the foot.
5-yard
You have the
penalty.
delay of game, but even though they got the timeout that saved them, but they've had these penalties like this that have killed their drives, and this is a big third down.
3rd down and 6 becomes 3rd down and 11. As we tick closer to the midway point here of quarter number 2. Wisner in motion, Bailey flushed forward, flag on the play in the area of a hold. What a catch that was. And Dalen Jones, at least for the moment, will have a 1st down, but that flag certainly in the vicinity of a hold, and that is the preliminary signal.
Going to be holding against DeSoto.
That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate.
Because that's a special catch.
Yes, it is. And Jabrion Peters, number 55, he is coming. No, that was actually on Colin Simmons. And yeah, you better hold number 8. Okay, let's just say that. He's going to cancel Christmas if you don't get a hold on him. But right now, Dylan Jones, man, and his impact on this game has been, been real. I know they've tried to get the ball to Javonte Cook, but number 88 is viable as a threat in this offense for the Eagles.
So now it becomes 3rd down and 21 after the holding penalty. Duncanville was showing blitz before the snap. They send 5. Pressure in the face of Bailey again. He gets away from 1. On the run, fires downfield, out of bounds, and incomplete. And DeSoto will have to punt it once again.
Bailey throws out of bounds.
You can tell. That Colin Simmons is something else, boy. Let me tell you. He don't miss many times. Point blank like that, he does not miss. And he is down on himself because he knows that is an automatic sack. But nonetheless, he has DJ Bailey's head on a swivel. He is looking for that pressure. They better find out where number 8 is and put another guy out there on him.
So DeSoto to punt it away. We've seen 2 sustained drives from the Eagles. Both of them, though, have ended in 4th down stops for the Duncanville Panthers defense. Wobbly kick up the near sideline, takes a good DeSoto bounce inside the 45, and will be downed there on the near sideline by Jashawn McCoy. But back comes Duncanville with good field position here.
Oh, you're just being nice. You called it a wobbler. That was a shank. He shanked that thing, and it rolled to position. I think you're going to get that at about the 44-yard line, but, man, that could have been really bad for the Eagles.
RL from Chatsville in the YouTube feed says Colin Simmons needs to go to Texas. I think there's a lot of Longhorn fans out there that would agree with that sentiment. A lot of fans from teams all around the country that want him to come play for them.
Hey, tell him get in line. Get in line.
4 wide receiver set here for Keelan Russell on the first play of the series. Going for the jugular shot, overshoots his intended target, Lontrell Turner.
And I'm sure Lontrell Turner, again, he's one of those guys, man. He can stretch the field, take the top off, but right there on that play in particular, he is in between 2 guys. So Keelan Russell, I credit him by just throwing that ball away, basically, and not trying to fit it in between 2 defenders.
John Lasker in the YouTube comments says Duncanville can seal this away with another touchdown here. Little early for that, but they certainly would put themselves in a really good spot if they can do that. That is a fantastic play by Jaden Milliner-Jones to cut down Caden Durham for no gain.
Well, that's how you got to tackle him, okay? You can't arm tackle this kid. He will run through an arm tackle. This is like, tying up a steer. You got to get him on the ground, rope his feet up. I mean, that's just completely Texas talk right there. But you got to get him on the ground, man.
3rd down and 10. Pressure coming. They set up the screen on the far side and wide open up the far sideline. Across the 35, inside the 30. A foot race once again. Knocked out of bounds inside the 15-yard line is Caleb Kenny.
And that's Coach Todd Peterman right now, just in his bag. That is a perfect play. Misdirection, comes back across to a wide open Caleb Kenny. And they are lucky that he hit his head on the goalpost.
1st down and goal right from the 10-yard line. Handoff for Durham. Give him a yard. We've seen DeSoto come up with their own 4th down stand deep in their own territory. They really need one right now.
Yeah, and I agree with that comment, man. It's not too early. You look at this Duncanville defense, and they're mixing up their coverage. If they don't have to mix up their coverage and just come after you, that is where things get really sticky. And so they're in that stage right now where they can't obviously pin their ears back and throw caution to the wind. But trust me, if they're able to get a 20-point lead going into the second half, that is what it's going to be all night long.
Russell working near side. Has to throw it away. There was a fight on the far, like a hand fight. I don't mean an actual fight on the far sideline. DeCorian Moore and Cayman Mathis. And Mathis won the hand fight and ripped Moore to the ground right there at the line of scrimmage. Did not let him release.
No, call it what it was. He picked him up and threw him on his on his butt pad. Okay.
He said, "Come here, sophomore."
Yeah, that was a takedown. No flag on that play, but man.
They'll allow some hand fight right there at the line of scrimmage, but that was quite a bit of that. Handoff up the middle and another crease, and to the end zone for the third time tonight goes Caden Durham. He only had to go 10 yards on this one, and Duncanville in control here late second quarter.
Caden Durham just counting the money. He's like 1, 2, 3. I love this kid. I absolutely love him, man. And seeing him in person, you know, all of the tape that we're watching on him, and it looks like he's fast. When you're watching him on Max Prep, you're watching him on Huddle, he is moving at a different speed. But, man, when you just see it with your fresh eyeballs, man, this is something to see.
Extra point is up and through, 20-0 Duncanville. Caden Durham with his third touchdown run of the first half, and the Panthers in control mid-second quarter. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff.
Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, a special Thursday night broadcast as Lovejoy and Melissa play for a district championship. Thursday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
20-0. The Duncanville Panthers on their home field with the lead over the DeSoto Eagles. 4:16 to play here in the second quarter. We do appreciate you being with us here on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus. Just around 6,200 of you with us right now on the WFAA YouTube channel. We appreciate you so much because you have set a new Friday Night Football record for concurrent viewers. About 5,500 for a Cedar Hill DeSoto game a couple years back was the largest we had ever seen. Y'all have surpassed that tonight, so please share the feed around with your friends and family and go ahead and push that number further northward, if you will. Kickoff from Duncanville short once again, fielded at the 22-yard line here by Weisner. He's got a crease here up the middle, following some blockers out across the 40-yard line, and good field position once again here for the DeSoto Eagles. Some extracurriculars behind the play. Officials get in between it quickly. They are letting this go, Heckma, beyond what you would ordinarily see, and I would say good job by the officials to understand the moment, understand the emotion that is wrapped up in this game. And I think in any other football game, a flag is thrown in that circumstance. Instead, the officials get in between it, break it up, and just let it be. Both sides kind of got their licks in, and hey, fellas, cool it down, go to your sidelines.
They know that this is a community affair, man. These guys, it's not any hate. These guys have played against each other, elementary school. A lot of them know each other. Parents know each other.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this is a close-knit community, so this is a prideful game. So good job by the officials by not throwing a flag and ejecting guys just for that little bit of skirmish.
DJ Bailey, quick throw far side. Dalen Jones makes a man miss, lowers his shoulder, spins his way close to the first down, certainly across midfield. Give him 9 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 1.
I love this. This is such a friendly ball from DJ Bailey out to Dalen Jones. Gets it out to him in space and allows him to use his vision to make extra plays. And I mean, a lot of quarterbacks don't understand that. You got to let your playmakers use their vision and speed to make plays for you.
Quick throw far side, and right on the scene immediately is Lamadrick Spencer. It was Crimson Mathis, I believe, that made the reception, and he paid the price for it right here. They're going to say, I believe, incomplete. And Crimson Mathis is down after the play. can see Claude Mathis on your screen right there. I think he was saying, what's his name? He was trying to figure out what the official's name is and then started hollering out Carl and said that should have been targeting too. Crimson Mathis still down on the field. Obviously, imagine in that circumstance when it's your son, the emotions are just that much higher. It wasn't helmet to helmet. It was kind of forearm to helmet, which you sometimes do see a flag fly for that. We didn't in this circumstance. Good to see Crimson Mathis back on his feet. But Claude Mathis very clearly trying to get the attention of Carl Davis, our referee tonight, and say that that should have been a targeting call as well. But Crimson Mathis with 3 coaches and the training staff walking him off the field here. And they're going to make sure that he's okay before he comes anywhere near the football field again.
Yeah, and as a father of a high school athlete, you don't want to see anything like that happen. Obviously, you know, Lamadrick Spencer is just playing aggressive, playing football. But, man, that's just, you don't want to see a young man stay down like that on a shot like that playing this game. So good job for Crimson Mathis getting up and walking off.
DeAndre Ryden there on the carry on 3rd down and 1, and that moves the chains. Under 4 to play here in this first half. DeSoto really needs to try and find some points here before the end of this half because it will be Duncanville football to start the second half.
But let's just say that Lamadrick Spencer lowered the boom on that shot, okay? And they've seen that play. That's the same play over and over again that they're throwing on the outside when their running game just goes, you know, they can't run it anymore. So they're just trying to find a way to pick up extra yards. And those small plays, that's the way that they're marching up the field, and they're getting a 3rd and 1. They're trying to spread this thing out and catch this Panthers defense off balance. But, man, they're just not having any luck so far.
Ryden lowering his shoulder. He'll have the first down once again on another 3rd and 1. It was Dalen Jones on the catch a moment ago that spun close to first down yardage. And now Ryden does move the sticks. It'll be a fresh 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. Four wides, 2 to either side. Bailey, pump fake, then through far side. Incomplete. Jonte Cook tried to make a case at it, but he had gotten a foot inbound.
And look at Colin Bailey. What is Colin Simmons? He stops.
I think he thought maybe that Bailey was going to throw it and stopped because he didn't want to get called for a roughing the passer. It's the only thought that I've got.
Wow.
Because I guess it was a convincing pump fake from DJ Bailey because he thought, I guess, the ball was out and didn't want to get called for roughing the passer. 2nd down and 10. Bailey, this time going for it all. End zone, single coverage, leaping, incomplete. He tried to find Jonte Cook. Would have been a spectacular catch.
No, it really would have. Really would have. And DJ Bailey, he has to rush it because guess who is doing you know what? In a ball that Jonte Cook typically comes down with, but not able to high point that ball.
So now 3rd and 10 here for this DeSoto offense. 2:37 to play in the opening half. And the Eagles, I don't want to go quite as far as to say desperately need points, but they need points.
Yeah, go ahead. And Colin Simmons is making his 2nd residency in this backfield right now.
Quick throw near sideline for Cedric Harden. Diving, can't make the grab.
Oh, and it hit him in the hands. What a throw, though, from DJ Bailey. Look at this. He puts it on the money in a place where Harden, hey, it's going to be a tough throw because Keldrick Madison is draped all over him as well. So as he puts the seatbelt on, it's going to bring up a 4th down for the Eagles.
They keep their offense on the field. DJ Bailey in shotgun, Ryden to his left. Timeout DeSoto.
Yeah, you want to make the right play here. At least, look, 4th and 10, you've got to think that Coach Claude Mathis wants to pick up the first down and not go for the end zone here. We got 2:31 still left in the 4th, so you're leaving Duncanville with some favorable field position, and they still have a running back that has broken off a couple of runs, so that they could break this thing open.
Caden Durham and the Duncanville defense have been the story of this first half. Duncanville with 2 big fourth down stops inside their own 10-yard line. And shortly thereafter, on the first one, it was the very next play. The second time, a few plays later, 2 very long touchdown runs for Caden Durham. And now a delay of game out of the timeout here for DeSoto. That's twice now we have seen DeSoto out of the quarter break have to burn a timeout to avoid a delay of game, and now out of their own timeout get called for a delay of game. Plainly put, that's hard to do.
That is, Mike, that's mismanagement. And here they are now with 5 seconds on the play clock.
4th and 15, pressure from behind, and down he goes. Colin Simmons again.
There's no stopping him. He is literally unstoppable. Look at how quickly he again dipping under. Ronell McClain does not stand a chance. His first step is so quick. By the time he gets to his second, third step, he's already by you. And for any left tackle, the first thing you're doing is you're kicking back in an angle, as I'm trying to illustrate it here in the booth. You're kicking back in an angle, and you got a guy that's at least 2 yards away from you that's already burning you on his second step. That is absolutely amazing.
He's the number 2 edge rusher in the junior class. And all I can think is, who the heck is better than that kid?
my next question was, Mike Leslie, please Google who's number 1, okay? I got to see this guy, because if he is better than number 8, then he is amazing.
1st and 10 for Duncanville at their own 46, 2:23 to work with. No timeouts left, but plenty of time, especially when you give the ball to Caden Durham. Look at him go up the far sideline. Nobody's going to catch Caden Durham. 54 yards for the touchdown, and Duncanville is putting it on DeSoto tonight. Is there a flag?
There is a flag. They're going to get him.
There's a flag at the 21-yard line. Are they going to get him for the celebration?
I think they're going to get him for the celebration, Mike.
He put the 4 fingers up, and I think that's what the penalty is going to be. Wow. Carl Davis, our referee, talking it over with his crew. Offsides defense. That penalty's declined.
Okay, touchdown. Okay.
Wait, after all that was an offside? Why is the flag at the 20-yard line?
I don't know. I have no idea. But look, Caden Durham.
Okay, the touchdown counts.
And they're talking to him. They are talking to him right now. And you see Coach Todd Peterman and Coach Reginald Samples telling him, all right, don't get that unsportsmanlike. But he is definitely giving the 4 that, hey, guys, this is 4 for me, and I'm going to walk the dog. Caden Durham is outstanding.
So after all of that, the touchdown does stand. A 54-yarder for Durham. The extra point is good, but barely. 27-0. The Duncanville Panthers putting a hurt on DeSoto in this first half, and it is all Caden Durham. Show him, young man. 4 first-half touchdown runs for Durham. Panthers up 27-0.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Yolitics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas. So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans.
Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand.
This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else.
Not to brag,
But just to brag a little bit.
okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines.
Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads.
And still counting.
Back in Duncanville, 27-0. The Panthers lead it here as we approach halftime. And you said it to me just a moment ago before we came back from the commercial. The offensive line from the Panthers, moving bodies, at will.
Yeah, they are call it moving the crowd, because Josiah Drake and Jerry Scales, and they have Jerry Scales as an undersized offensive lineman, 6'3", 250 pounds, but number 54 is tough as nails, doing a really good job interiorly of moving these guys out, and he is single-handedly responsible for opening up these gaping holes for Caden Durham, who right now, 4 touchdowns in, man, he is looking like he is unstoppable out here in DeSoto. Excuse me, in Duncanville.
Kickoff from the Panthers, near sideline short once again, taken to the 24-yard line. That's a lot of running room here for Duncanville's Dalen Singleton, the sophomore, across midfield and down to the 46.
And I'm telling you, DeSoto needed that. They need a big play so bad versus Duncanville right now, because these guys look shell-shocked. And it all started, I mean, you look at this, as far as this defense is concerned, on that last tackle by Lamadrick Spencer, it just took all of the air out of that sideline.
Up the middle here goes Ryden. Good job to push the pile. Still moving the pile. And all of that's going to go for about 7. Comment here in the YouTube feed from Bruce Casburn, asking a question that, frankly, I still have, and that is, they called offsides 20, 30 yards downfield.
They did.
That was a confusing sequence there, because it looked very clearly, even with the body language reaction from Caden Durham, that they had thrown a flag for a personal foul, and then they announced that it was an offside. End zone shot here for Jonte Cook is a bit too far. It'll be 3rd down and 2, but that was a bizarre sequence.
No, it really was, and this is the ball to Jonte Cook, where he breaks off the route too soon.
Yeah.
These guys are going to have to go in at halftime and just readjust. They're going to have to calm down. We saw the chippiness from the first quarter on, and right now the Panthers are just completely taking over this ball game. Up by 27, a minute 29 in the first half, and they're going to get the ball to start the second half, as you alluded to, and this is the part of the game where they could put this thing to bed if you're a Duncanville Panther.
Weisner with the carry to pick up the first down. 80 seconds left here in this first half. DeSoto out of timeouts. In fact, both teams out of timeouts. 1st and 10 at the 34. Quick throw near side. Dalen Jones cuts up field, picks up a couple, but they need some big chunks here in this final minute to try and find the end zone. They're going to stop the clock here right at a minute for an injury timeout, as Dalen Jones stayed down after the play. He may have cramped up there as he caught the ball and ran with it. He's already starting to run it out a little bit right now.
Oh, this really has been a tough game for the DeSoto Eagles, man. They've done everything to try and stay in this ball game, but so far, this Duncanville defense, they are not giving these guys any quarter. Every time they get close, they just clamp down. That 4th and 1 down there, it looked like they were going to pick up at least the first down. And were denied.
Clock is back running here out of the injury timeout, down to 45 seconds. Bailey flush to his right, chased from behind, looking end zone, fires short of it, fires it out of bounds, and throws it away. It's going to be 3rd down and 9, 38 seconds left here in the first half. Comment from Bashan Jackson in the YouTube feed, and I think this might be the comment of the night so far. He said, would someone look out their window and see if Caden Durham is still running?
Caden Durham is at Camp Wisdom right now, let me tell you. He's already made it to Redbird Mall.
38 seconds here. Duncanville rushes 4. Bailey steps up to avoid the pressure. Got a man right in his face, and he's going to have to throw it out of bounds again. As much as we've talked about the receiving core from DeSoto, the secondary from Duncanville has done a really nice job. A lot of it's the pass rush. They've made life difficult on DJ Bailey. But look at him. He's looking downfield, and he's got nowhere to go with the football.
No, he doesn't. And it's because of this secondary. Tyron Polley and Kadavian Dotson-Walker, both of these safeties are doing a really good job of taking away those deep throws. They're just playing quarter coverage. and they are eliminating the possibility of Jonte Cook getting behind him.
4th down and 9, 30 seconds left in the half. DeSoto with no choice but to go for it here. Bailey swims away from all of it, fires downfield, but cannot hook up with Dalen Jones on the sideline. Incomplete, another 4th down stop for this Duncanville defense. It has been a dominant performance in the first half from the Panthers.
And they are shutting them out. And again, when you have a lead like this, and honestly, the bigger thing is they are getting pressure with just 4. This is 4 on 5 that they're getting this pressure. And, man, if it's not Colin Simmons, it's Alex January. How about that? This guy's name is Alex January. He's 6'5", 325 pounds.
He's a big
boy.
What
a perfect name. Alex January.
He's a talented kid, too. 16 college offers, Georgia, LSU, TCU, on and on.
And by the way, he's just a junior.
As is Colin Simmons. That's the part that doesn't even make sense.
He looks like January, too. Boy, that is a big person.
Timeout on the field. I'm not sure called by who. Now all of a sudden the scoreboard says that there's 2 timeouts left for DeSoto. They've certainly used all 3 of their first half timeouts. Both teams, in fact, have used all of their first half timeouts.
Yeah, no way that they still have.
The officials sorting something out right now. As Jerry Scale is coming into your frame, enjoying the music coming through the loudspeaker.
Jerry Scales. Hey, Jerry Scales has been doing one heck of a job, so he deserves to do the jam ponies that they're playing right now. Boy, this is good football right now for the Duncanville Panthers.
Final 23 seconds, and Duncanville content to kneel on the football and take a 27-0 lead. Into the locker room, Keelan Russell and company getting work done here in this first half, and it has been all the junior running back, Caden Durham. 4 first half touchdown runs, and Heckma Harrison, this Panthers defense has been stifling.
No, that's that in one word. I mean, stifling is definitely doing a great job. I can't say enough, though, when they have gotten the ball back to their offense is taking care of business. Other than the one turnover that they had early, man, they've atoned for all of that. And, man, I tell you what, Caden Durham right now is just, talk about game ball player of the district. All of that is on the table for him, man, and he still has another 2 quarters to play.
He came in with 12 touchdown runs on the year, a third of that number in the first half. 4 touchdown runs for Caden Durham, 92, 86, 10, and 54, and Duncanville leads it 27-0 at the break on Friday Night Football. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff. Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, a special Thursday night broadcast as Lovejoy and Melissa play for a district championship. Thursday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
In a world filled with motion, we are the constant. Filled with storms, we are the calm. Filled with uncertainty, we are reassurance. We bring the truth. We bring hope, conviction, a legacy of grit, determination, honesty, and relevant reporting that doesn't just inform, but inspires. We are WFAA.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Y'all-itics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas. So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans.
Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand.
This is solid information and a deep dive
you're not going to get anywhere else.
Not to brag,
But just to brag a little bit.
okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines.
Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads.
And still counting.
Sometimes parties can tend to go on slightly longer than planned. For Izzy, that's not a problem at all, since she can now catch the 4, 5, 6, or even 10 p.m. newscasts after they air on the new WFAA+. Party on, kids. Are you a consummate multitasker like Chris Lawrence? Cooking, well, attempting. Dinner for the family while also craving a dose of news? Now you can chop and cook while still tuning in to any live newscast on the new WFAA+.
Your essential local news and weather for free. The WFAA mobile app. Download now.
It's 2 minutes. As we welcome you back here to Duncanville, halftime between the Panthers and Eagles in the District 11 6A championship game. Duncanville, Heckma Harrison in firm control here at halftime. 27-0 the score. Caden Durham with 4 first-half touchdown runs.
No, man, DeSoto's about to make it a game. I do not believe that we're going to come all the way out here and it's going to be a boat race. All right, we're going to get a football game one way or another, Mike Leslie. All right,
look, that's some belief out of you because so far it has been dominant.
The rain has subsided.
That is true.
Everything that we thought was going to happen in this game has not happened. And, you know, who does it favor? It favored DeSoto. This is the one team.
If the rain's going to go away, yes.
Absolutely. A team that you thought, look, man, they have all of the weapons on the outside, and that's where they would threaten Duncanville the most. But, hey, man, I kid a little bit when I say that. I just want a good football game. But you're right. I mean, right now, up front, this offensive line, I think, for the Panthers is – they're exacting their dominance right now over the Panthers, and you just see it in these tough runs from Caden Durham. And when he comes in, I mean, look, they try and do everything that they possibly can to get a stop on him, but you see these guys, number 51, Josiah Drake, he is just driving guys down the field. And when you can get through a hole like that, literally untouched, maybe one guy that gets a hand on you, but nothing significant to bring you down, that is, hey, there's really nothing you can do about that, and it's going to make for a long night.
You can see the clock there on your screen. 23 minutes until we get back underway with the second half of this football game. Ordinarily during this time frame, we would bring you the halftime show from the respective bands from either team and the cheerleaders, the drill teams, but as you can see, our field tonight empty. Most of our stands, frankly, tonight empty as most fans have decided to stay home and tune in with us here on the WFAA YouTube channel or on WFAA+. So there is nothing to speak of, unfortunately, tonight in the way of a halftime show. We are 23 minutes away from the second half getting underway. It has been a dominant performance from both the Duncanville offense and defense in that first half. We talked about Colin Simmons and everything that he's done in this football game, and he has been the very first terror to name for this Duncanville defense. But you alluded to it before halftime. It has been the entire defensive front. Jabrion Peters has gotten home on DJ Bailey. Alex January has made some big plays in the interior. This is a complete defensive front for the Duncanville Panthers, and they've made plays at a lot of different junctures of this game.
No, they really have. And the thing that's really scary about this Duncanville defense, as I said earlier, look at the amount of athletes that they've had come through, and they call themselves D-Block, that defensive line. I can remember guys like DeBraylon Carroll that's now at Rice University, just to name a few. I mean, and what a monster he was in the middle. They have so many of these guys that are coming through this program, and when you have a Colin Simmons that literally looks as though he is unblockable as a defensive lineman, man, it is just making life unbearable for DJ Bailey, who we talked about in the open, not throwing any interceptions, a guy that, you know, comes in with 2,006 yards on the season. Right now, man, it just doesn't look like this DeSoto Eagles offense can get anything going. Even when they get a few yards, man, this defense for Duncanville is just saying, we're going to stop you here and you cannot go any further.
Yeah. 27-0 our score here at halftime. We'll step aside for a moment and return here on Friday Night Football. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff.
Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, a special Thursday night broadcast as Lovejoy and Melissa play for a district championship. Thursday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
In a world filled with motion, we are the constant. Filled with storms, we are the calm. Filled with uncertainty, we are reassurance. We bring the truth. We bring hope, conviction, a legacy of grit, determination, honesty, and relevant reporting that doesn't just inform, but inspires. We are WFAA.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Yolitics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas. So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans.
Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand.
This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else.
Not to brag,
But just to brag a little bit.
okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines.
Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads.
And still counting.
Sometimes parties can tend to go on slightly longer than planned. For Izzy, that's not a problem at all, since she can now catch the 4, 5, 6, or even 10 p.m. newscasts after they air on the new WFAA Plus. Party on, kids. Are you a consummate multitasker like Chris Lawrence? Cooking, well, attempting dinner for the family while also craving a dose of news? Now you can chop and cook while still tuning in to any live newscast on the new WFAA Plus.
Your essential local news and weather for free. The WFAA mobile app. Download now.
Back in Duncanville, 27-0 our halftime score in favor of the Duncanville Panthers. 4 first-half touchdown runs from Caden Durham, 92, 86, 10, and 54. The yardage on each of those 4 first-half touchdown runs for the junior running back. And the Duncanville Panthers in control tonight in this District 11 6A title game. Stephen Hill in the YouTube comments says, hey, Mike and Heckma, tell some of those Duncanville and DeSoto stars to come on up to UNT to take us to the promised land, Heckma. Sorry, you were saying?
I said, I know that's right. I'm all for you, man. I wish I could get Colin Simmons to walk right up there, but you know, he may have his sights set on something way bigger. But, man, what an athlete. We have a ton of guys out here. Offensive line, running backs. I mean, hey, you talk about running backs. We got some of the best, one of the best in the state on this field.
Duncanville fans enjoying themselves, those few that did decide to brave the weather and come out tonight. It is 27-0 here at halftime, just about 15 minutes away from the second half getting underway. We'll step aside. We'll come back with your first half stats right after this on Friday Night Football. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff.
Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, a special Thursday night broadcast as Lovejoy and Melissa play for a district championship. Thursday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
In a world filled with motion, we are the constant. Filled with storms, we are the calm. Filled with uncertainty, we are reassurance. We bring the truth. We bring hope, conviction, a legacy of grit, determination, honesty, and relevant reporting that doesn't just inform, but inspires. We are WFAA.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Yolitics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas.
So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans.
Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand.
This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else.
Not to brag,
But just to brag a little bit.
okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines.
Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads.
And still counting.
Sometimes parties can tend to go on slightly longer than planned. For Izzy, that's not a problem at all, since she can now catch the 4, 5, 6, or even 10 p.m. newscasts after they air on the new WFAA+. Party on, kids. Are you a consummate multitasker like Chris Lawrence? Cooking, well, attempting dinner for the family while also craving a dose of news? Now you can chop and cook while still tuning in to any live newscast on the new WFAA+.
Your essential local news and weather for free. The WFAA mobile app. Download now.
Back in Duncanville, halftime between the Panthers and Eagles here on Friday Night Football. Mike Leslie and Heckma Harrison back here with you in the broadcast booth. Heckma, a dominant first half from the Duncanville Panthers. Caden Durham with those 4 first-half touchdown runs. Let's give you a look at the first-half stats between these two teams, and it is, no surprise, slanted heavily to the Duncanville Panthers.
Well, you know what? Caden Durham has done all the work here in the first half. His ability to just break off these big gashing runs, man, you see it. I mean, you go to that ground game, 262, literally 95% of that is Caden Durham, and there's nothing that the DeSoto Eagles defense has been able to do to stop him. And, you know, look, they're trying to make some halftime adjustments to try and figure out a way to slow this offense down, but then even on the other side, you've got to figure out a way to stop Colin Simmons.
You mentioned that Caden Durham had maybe 95% of the first-half rushing yards there from the Duncanville Panthers. In fact, he has like 103% of their first-half rushing yards because he's at 265, and they've got a team stat -3 just for the kneel down before halftime. That's it. Caden Durham's the only one who's carried the football. He is 11 for 265 and 4 touchdowns, 24 yards per carry.
They should take his helmet away. It should be a mercy rule. Take his helmet away. Don't let that young man come back in this ball game because that is an insane number. If he stays on this field for 4 quarters, I think we may see a 500-yard performance.
265 and 4 touchdowns for Caden Durham. It has been a dominant first half for the Duncanville running back. You see the DeSoto cheerleaders bundled up and covered up with the ponchos, just trying to stay dry out there. We have been lucky on that regard. We haven't really seen much rain during the actual game itself. Once they kick this football game off, we've been lucky enough to stay mostly dry. The field is still wet. Chances are good the ball is still a little bit wet, but at least no rain actively falling here in Duncanville, and thank the weather gods for that.
Yeah, and when we got into the stadium, there was a driving rain.
Yeah.
Okay, so it didn't even look like – you were asking yourself what kind of condition this field was going to be in. How are they going to, get – we just figured that this was going to be a sloppily played game because of the rain. And I tell you what, rain, sleet, snow, if you got Caden Durham, man, you can make some things happen.
He did make some things happen in that first half. YFNDMN on the YouTube feed says 265 at half is crazy.
That's ridiculous.
You're absolutely right. Quite a stat line on just 11 carries. That's the part that really boggles my mind. A 92-yard touchdown run, an 86-yard touchdown run, a 54-yard touchdown run, and then a ho-hum 10-yard touchdown run just to cap it all off. And it is a 27-0 Duncanville lead at halftime. If you are Claude Mathis right now, you've had these 28 minutes. We're 18 of the 28 minutes through this halftime now to try and reset if you're the DeSoto Eagles and come out and make something of this second half. How do you go about it?
Well, you just got to remind your squad who they are. I mean, these guys have scored in bunches. They're not – I mean, you go down their wins and losses, their win column, they're winning games – 80, they're scoring 80 points. They're scoring 60 points. So scoring is not a problem for the DeSoto Eagles.
Yeah.
They've just got to find a way to get that going. So, look, I look at this game and I say by no means can they be out of it. They can't even approach the second half like they're out of it.
Yeah.
So they have got to come out and go to their best stuff. A lot of defenses, you have your base defense. Every defense has it. This is who we are, blood to bone. Go to your base defense and let your guys do what they do. They understand there's no reading. We got to stop one guy now, and that's Caden Durham, okay? We've got to stop him. Offensively, you got plays that you can run in your sleep. Go to those plays. You have a 5-star receiver in Jonte Cook. Feature him, okay? Go to your playmakers. Just throw all caution to the wind. No more cute stuff. Let's just get the ball to our playmakers, and when this thing goes 0-0-0, then we can live with win or loss. Okay, that's the only remedy that I would have in a situation like this. All the gamesmanship is out the window.
Yeah,
let's be who we are.
You mentioned it. DeSoto scored 86 against Mansfield Lake Ridge, 63 against Skyline. They went for 50-plus against Mansfield Legacy, 56 in that game. Now, it's worth noting this Duncanville defense is very much not Lake Ridge or Legacy or Skyline. However, your point still stands. This is a high-powered DeSoto offense. You have to look at this in the landscape of, hey, they have the ability coming into this football game to take a 27-0 lead at halftime. There's actually a lot of times coaches will say this, hey, why can't we go outscore them 27-0 in the second half? And a lot of times when coaches say that, it feels kind of like bluster and you're trying to just pump your team up.
Absolutely.
It feels like this is a scenario where there's an element, there's a thread of truth there, just because this is such a high-powered DeSoto offense. Holding Duncanville to 0 in the second half would be quite the challenge. I'm not sure that they necessarily, but to go out there and outscore them by a decent chunk in the second half feels possible. But DeSoto's really got to get things moving in the right direction and fast.
Yeah, and no way am I confusing these other teams with Duncan.
Oh no, I know. Yeah.
And what I'm basically saying is that how capable DeSoto is at scoring points and the kind of athletes that they have on their team. You know, we're disappointed, okay? We're disappointed because obviously we know the Duncanville Panthers are talented, but on the other side, there is a group of guys that have their sights set not only on the district title, but at a state championship.
Yeah.
This is a DeSoto team that, you know, hey, if they are going to, looks like Waxahachie is going to go to
D1, yes.
D1,
yep.
And that DeSoto may end up going into D2. Guess what? The competition level at D2 doesn't get any easier.
No.
Okay? There is a Den Geyer squad that's going to be in there waiting on you that is powerful. And you talk about this Panther defense. Oh, Den Geyer has a defense as well.
Yes,
and so there are
do.
just some things that you just got to prove it to yourself. And so I know for everybody that's out there that is a DeSoto Eagle, they're disappointed, but they know they've seen this team, and they know that these guys can score a lot of points. They've just got to make this game respectful. And they don't want to go out of here with a goose egg. And I don't want to see that either because I know that's a darn good team on the other side.
Duncanville does have the football to start the second half. You got to imagine if DeSoto's going to have any realistic chance to win this football game, it has to start with a stop and a touchdown drive immediately following. Make this a 27-7 football game and give yourself a reason to feel good about something, and then maybe they can start to get things to snowball. But there is a very long uphill climb between here and DeSoto making this a game late.
Yeah, don't even worry about the light at the end of the tunnel right now. Just keep digging, all right? You come out, you've made the adjustments, you've talked your guys up, and just like all the coaches speak is out of the window. And I'm sure for Coach Claude Mathis, he's told these guys, look, you got knocked out, okay? You got knocked out in the first round. Look, get up. Okay, and let's just get through these rounds, and let's try and make this respectful. Get to the fourth quarter, and maybe if you could cut into this lead, if you can get it to 14, maybe then you can make a move. But this is going to take a complete team effort. As I say that, Mike, I know that is going to be a Herculean task.
Yes.
Okay. I am selling you hope right now, Mike. Okay. And it doesn't look like you're buying it.
You don't got to sell it to me. You got to sell it to the DeSoto fans out there that are watching right now. Still 4,500 of you with us right now on the WFAA YouTube channel. Spread the word. We are 6.5 minutes from the start of the third quarter. You saw Duncanville's already back on the field. DeSoto returning momentarily. We'll step aside one more time here at halftime. When we return, we'll tee up the second half and see if the Eagles can't get back in this football game. But the number 3 Duncanville Panthers, oh boy, are they ever looking the part so far tonight. 27-0 at halftime on Friday Night Football. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff. Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, a special Thursday night broadcast as Lovejoy and Melissa play for a district championship. Thursday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
In a world filled with motion, we are the constant. Filled with storms, we are the calm. Filled with uncertainty, we are reassurance. We bring the truth. We bring hope, conviction, a legacy of grit, determination, honesty, and relevant reporting that doesn't just inform, but inspires. We are WFAA.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Yolitics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas. So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans. Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand. This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else. Not to brag, but just to brag a little bit. Okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines. Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads. And still counting.
Sometimes, parties can tend to go on slightly longer than planned. For Izzy, that's not a problem at all, since she can now catch the 4, 5, 6, or even 10 p.m. newscasts after they air on the new WFAA Plus. Party on, kids. Are you a consummate multitasker like Chris Lawrence? Cooking, well, attempting dinner for the family while also craving a dose of news? Now you can chop and cook while still tuning in to any live newscast on the new WFAA Plus.
Your essential local news and weather for free. The WFAA mobile app. Download now.
Back in Duncanville, 27-0 at halftime. Your second half, just about 3 minutes away. Heckma Harrison, Mike Leslie here with you on the WFAA YouTube channel and on WFAA Plus. Still 4,500 of you with us right now. Again, spread the word that the second half is ready to get underway here momentarily. Just about 3 minutes away. Four first-half touchdown runs from Caden Durham, the Duncanville junior running back, to lead the way for the Duncanville Panthers. A fantastic first half for this Duncanville defense. Colin Simmons with a couple sacks in the first half. Alex January got home. Javrion Peters finished off a sack. They have been a nightmare for DeSoto quarterback DJ Bailey through the first 24 minutes of this football game. We will see if DeSoto can find themselves over the course of this halftime break, Heckma, and see if they can't try and make something happen here early on in the third quarter.
Yeah, these first couple of minutes are going to be pivotal for the DeSoto Eagles. And I'm just interested to see the kind of adjustments that they're going to make to try and back off this Panthers defense. Obviously, for the Eagles on defense, they're going to have to find a way to stop Caden Durham. That's business. That's the first item of business for them. They are yet to come from the locker room. So obviously they are getting a stern talking to on what to do to get back in this game. I'm sure Coach Claude Mathis can't believe the way that first half has gone. You know, just think about it. The first play from scrimmage for the Panthers, they go 98 yards.
92.
92 yards.
From the 8.
From the 8-yard line. So, I mean, just things couldn't have gone worse. And you give those back-to-back 90-yard runs up. I mean, this is a nightmare scenario. But they've got to find a way to get back in this game.
Here come the DeSoto Eagles back on the football field right now. You mentioned Claude Mathis. This is the 8th meeting all time between Mathis and Reginald Samples. These two men have been meeting going back to Samples' Skyline days. You see all the asterisks on your screen. All but one of those meetings came in the playoffs. This is only the second time tonight that they have met in the regular season. And Reginald Samples with a 6-1 edge in those games. Samples looking to make it 7-1 tonight with his team up 27-0 here at halftime. These are two men, you talked about it earlier on in the broadcast, that have a lot of respect for one another.
Oh, yeah, they do.
We heard that in talking on the phone with the two of them over the course of this week. Claude Mathis, he said, listen, I'm always going to be compared to Reginald Samples, being who they are and having the success that they've both had. Claude Mathis just won his 150th game just a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Reginald Samples won his 300th game right here on our air a year ago against DeSoto. These are two men that have had a lot of success in North Texas high school football. They're always going to be compared to one another. There's no two ways about it. But they are at different stages of their careers, obviously.
Yes.
And I feel like in a lot of ways, Mathis kind of looks at Samples as do many of the coaches around North Texas. Look at him as kind of this almost guiding light, if that's the right way to put it. I'm curious your perspective on this, but obviously for you, he means so much as your former high school coach, but he means a lot to a lot of the coaches around North Texas.
No, and they call him the Godfather for a reason. But
yeah.
I think for Coach Claude Mathis, when we talked about him, there was just that twinge of, man, I want to beat him so bad in his voice. I mean, he held it back. He didn't say it, but it's just like you showed those games with the asterisk next to it. Mm-hmm. That means he's eliminating you with those playoff victories. Your season has been cut short this many times by one coach, right? And these are two communities that are very close to one another. And they're always going to be compared. If DeSoto is good and Duncanville's having a down year, then everybody talks about DeSoto. Duncanville has been the toast of the town because of the years that they've been having. Mm-hmm. And look, DeSoto doesn't like it. They're trying to bring this program back to going to multiple state titles as well. So, look, two coaches with all of these accolades, all of the victories. Claude Mathis is looking at it like, look, I know who Coach Reginald Samples is. I don't want to live in his shadow. I want to have my own name. Yeah. And that's what he's working towards, and rightfully so. Mm-hmm. Which coach, which individual that takes pride in what he do wouldn't want to have that? And so I just love what he said. I mean, so many positive things was said from Coach Claude Mathis about Reginald Samples. But when you talk to Coach Reginald Samples, man, it's like he's been there. He's done that. There's nothing he hasn't seen on a football field. There's no coach that he hadn't coached against. And for all of these guys, he just loves them all. I won't say it's a father-son relationship because that's not it. He just has a tremendous amount of respect for Coach Claude Mathis and understands what he's trying to build, but he's not trying to give him anything.
No, nor should he.
And he's not. And we asked him about victories versus certain coaches, and what did he say? I don't remember a lot of that, but I do remember my victories versus Claude Mathis.
Well, because I said because you asked him, like, how long have you guys been facing one another? And he said, I'm not really sure how far it goes back, and I had the numbers in front of me 8 times. This is their 8th meeting, and the numbers we just showed there on the screen. And I said, okay, first time was 2008. He said, okay, all right, that sounds about right. I said, you're actually 6-1 against him. He said, oh, I remember that detail. Yeah. I know that. I know about the wins.
I think he's playing with us a little bit. He wanted you to say a wrong number. He would have definitely corrected you, as you said, 4-2. It's like, I don't think so. That's a good job, Coach. And what a great interview. But I mean, we interview so many coaches, Mike. But when you get those legendary coaches, like we have Coach Buchanan last week, man, just great conversations.
So here comes the Duncanville kickoff return team out to the 24-yard line. Nice job to break a tackle there by Davion Blewett. Otherwise, he would have been pinned inside his own 15. Instead, out to the 24 he comes. And here comes this Duncanville offense with a 27-0 lead. Again, 4 first-half touchdown runs from Caden Durham. 11 carries, 265 yards, and 4 rushing scores. A ridiculous stat line for the junior running back. And here he is out there looking for more.
Now they have got to get a stop. Do the DeSoto Eagles. They've got to get a stop.
Right up the middle, the handoff goes, and tackle made after a pickup of about 5. Brandon Booker with the tackle as Caleb Ketty got the carry.
And they're probably, this DeSoto Eagles defense is just loving that someone else gets a carry besides Caden Durham.
Second down and 5. Coming near side. This time it is Durham. Bows backward, and a nice job to hang on for the tackle by Cayman Mathis. And that'll go down as a loss of 5. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Loss of 5 brings up 3rd and 10.
And you see, like we talked about at halftime, this defense just needs to show up. All right, go back to their base, what they do well, and get tackles. A 3 and out right now would be great for the psyche of the DeSoto Eagles.
They've got a chance at one here. 3rd down and 10. It's going to be a 5 wide receiver set here for Keelan Russell, the sophomore quarterback. 3 wide receivers to his right. Steps up in the pocket. He's going to take off and try and run for it. A lot of running room downfield. He's going to have the first down out across the 40-yard line. Look at the sophomore making a play with his legs.
And right now, the DeSoto Eagles have just got to ask themselves, what do we have to do? Because that's basically, you would call, this would be a coverage sack in any other world, but man, not so fast. Keelan Russell gets out and picks up the first down.
Rolling right, fires to his escape hatch on the sideline. Davion Blewett scoots his way up the sideline for a pickup of 4.
And just the sophomore. Just the sophomore is Keelan Russell, and wasn't even the quarterback that they were going to go with for the year.
They had an injury in the opening game of the season. Jameer Willis tore his ACL against South Oak Cliff in their opener, and he was thrust in. I mean, Samples did tell us he was going to see some time. He had played a little bit already that night before the injury, but wasn't expected to be the guy as a flag flies in here. He has stepped, though, into that role quite nicely. 11 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, a couple touchdowns on the ground as well. The holding penalty against Duncanville is going to dock him 10 yards here, but what a job this sophomore has done stepping into the role. And Sam did say, listen, we expect, this is a kid that they've been waiting on, that they've been expecting to be a guy for them eventually, just not necessarily this year. So they knew he had the talent. He's just being called on a little earlier than expected.
Yeah, and I love when we had the conversation with him about his quarterbacks, and he said, "Look, man, I've had an embarrassment of riches at this quarterback position. You know, I've had some real stars, and he's just going to be the next one in line is Keelan Russell."
2nd down and 17 now after the penalty. Again, an opportunity here for this DeSoto defense if they can try and get off the football field. Russell flushed to the near side, chased, hit, able to stay on his feet and fire it out of bounds. It'll be 3rd and long.
Russell passes out of bounds. Going to bring up 3rd down.
You look at Russell, and he doesn't run very much. You know, he doesn't run very much. He is looking to pass. He is a pocket guy at 6'3", 170 pounds. And you just think about the days when you had a Jaquindon Jackson out here, which was a completely different style of quarterback. Jaquindon Jackson wanted to run the ball. He wanted to make you pay with his legs and his strength at the quarterback position. Things have changed here in Duncanville.
Sam does feel like Russell can run, but to your point, the way that he likes to play the game, very clearly he likes to stay in there and throw the ball, this time over the middle for Zachary Turner, the freshman. Think about the talent coming up through the system here for Duncanville. Sophomore quarterback Keelan Russell, freshman wide receiver Zachary Turner, sophomore 5-star wide receiver DeCorian Moore, the #1 receiver in America in the sophomore class. All of these kids are underclassmen that'll be here for a while.
Unbelievable.
It's kind of crazy the talent that they've got here in Duncanville. That is a 3rd down stop there for DeSoto. 4th down, and Duncanville has to punt. Up the far sideline, wobbly kick. Hits off the foot of a Duncanville player. He tried to throw a DeSoto Eagle into the football. Jashawn McCoy didn't know where the ball was.
He sure did. Did you see that?
He made every effort at it. Instead, it hit him in the foot.
And I'm sure
That's Keytron Simpson.
And I'm sure you have the DeSoto sideline yelling, Peter, 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 which means get away from the ball. That's they dodge a bullet right there.
So DeSoto does the first link in the chain, getting a stop here of the Duncanville offense. 3 minutes and 9 seconds into this second half, and they'll take over 1st and 10 at their own 33-yard line. They still have Everest to climb, but they've taken the first step.
Yeah, just don't look up. Just keep climbing.
Handoff for DeAndre Ryden. Good run for 11 on the first play of the offensive series, and he'll move the chains right away.
Boy, I tell you, and that's something that we hadn't said. Ryden moving the chains. That is something to see and love to see that from this DeSoto Eagles offense. As you see this offensive line, boy, they have come out with a little bit of a pep in their step.
You think they weren't challenged at halftime?
I think they were challenged personally at halftime. Every last one of those guys individually were challenged.
First down carry of 5 yards there for Ryden. 2nd down and 5 from the 49. Still on their own side of the football field. Bailey with Wisner to his left gets the handoff. Patiently waited for the hole and then surged forward for about 3.5. It'll be 3rd and short.
Number 5, Trey Wisner on the carry, brought down by number 10, Keytron Simpson.
Quick throw far side, nice move. And that's going to be enough for a first down. Good fight there by Dalen Singleton, the sophomore wide receiver, to move the chains.
Boy, I tell you what, Singleton did not look like he was going to be able to get to the first down marker, but he does a good job of fighting off defenders to try and get there. Boy, you see those guys trying to be shifty and make too many moves. Just get the first down and get down.
Handoff here on first down for Wisner into the pile. Dalen Singleton, the sophomore wide receiver, he's got a lot of talent in front of him on the depth chart with Jonte Cook and Cedric Harden and Crimson Mathis and Dalen Jones and what have you. Dalen Singleton's a 4-star wide receiver. He's only a sophomore, and he's got all that talent in front of him, but he's the next big thing here at DeSoto as he comes up through the ranks. 2nd down and 6. Bailey to the air, far side, low throw, but caught right at the first down marker by Cedric Harden.
And that's a low ball. Good job by Harden scooping that thing out of the grass, well, out of the turf.
Number 13, Cedric Harden.
And that's another first down for DeSoto, man. Loving this drive already by the Eagles.
5 minutes into this 3rd quarter, you can see they've already been playing with pace. They know they don't have a whole lot of time to work with. Handoff, Wisner, nothing doing this time. Undercut and taken down by Alex January.
Yeah, January saying, okay, enough is enough. Caden McGuire, the center, 5'10", 270. He's really got his hands full with Alex January and just the size difference between these two athletes.
Stoppage of play here. He was trying to signal to the clock booth to reset the play clock to 40 seconds rather than 25. No signal as to who called the timeout.
That was the injury.
Oh, beg your pardon. Thank you. Injury timeout. Looks to be Lamadrick Spencer who stayed down after the play there, far away from the play. Back on his feet now, but he'll need to come off for a snap.
And surprised, I think Lamadrick Spencer, he's cramping up, and that's going to be an offsides, I believe, on the Panthers.
It's been a busy night for our officiating crew. Offside against Duncanville. 2nd and 12 will become 2nd and 7.
And so many of those drives by the DeSoto Eagles that have ended, well, once they got to 2nd and 3rd down, they've gotten penalties, whether it be offside, illegal motion, so many of those things that this has created that 3rd and long for them. So let's just see what they're able to come up here with these 2 downs.
Handoff on 2nd down and 7 and nowhere to go. What a play by Elijah Wilson.
Man, they got Elijah Wilson at that rover position, and just size and skill and speed alone, 6'2", 215.
Elijah Wilson with the takedown.
Just how quick these linebackers are for the Panthers. We lost Eli Wallace in the first half, and he's another one of those quick, tough linebackers that they have for the Panthers.
Midway point of this 3rd quarter, 3rd down and 10 here for DeSoto. 3 wide receivers to the right for Bailey. Looking downfield, over the middle, complete Cedric Harden. 1st down inside the 20. Eagles starting to move the football a little bit.
Look at the flick of his wrist. DJ Bailey just flicks that thing and it goes on a rope. That's a great throw by the junior quarterback.
1st down at the 19. They swing it near side for Dalen Jones. With all due respect, I'm not sure why they keep calling that play. Duncanville sees it coming every time, and they're there 8 times out of 10.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you're trying to spread this defense out, trying to have the element of surprise, maybe pump fake out that way and then try something over the top. But so far, like you said, Mike, it just isn't working.
Wisner trying to get to the outside, breaks a tackle inside the 15. Wisner inside the 10. What a run by the senior.
Boy, Wisner, he is fighting off Eagles, and there is I think there's a penalty flag on the other side, or maybe that's just something on the field, but it sure looks like a penalty flag.
It looked like it. I think it may be a towel. Handoff, Wisner up the middle, fighting his way to the 5, and no further. As the pile finally held him up, it'll be 2nd down and goal.
DeSoto has to get points, Mike. They have to.
We've seen them get the. How different would this game look if they had converted their 2 drives that went inside the 10-yard line and then had 4th down stops? A goose egg on the scoreboard right now. They're trying to change that, but DJ Bailey's taken down for the sack. It's Keytron Simpson with the sack, and it's going to be 3rd and goal from outside the 10.
And Keytron Simpson, you just ask yourself, where did he come from? Off the edge. It's like he's shot out of a cannon, and that backs this DeSoto Eagles offense up.
3rd and goal from the 11. 3 wides to the right for Bailey. Looking left side, though, for Harden. End zone shot, too tall, incomplete. And it's 4th and goal. He had the single coverage, Heckma.
Now he had favorable coverage. This is the matchup that he wanted. It's just he threw a fastball out there, and instead of, well, they bringing out the field goal. No, it's not the field goal unit.
I know. I think they are. I think they're going to settle for the points here after getting stopped on 4th down twice in that first half inside the 10-yard line. This time on 4th and goal from the 11, they're going to line up and kick a field goal. Play clock is down to 7. A lot of confusion. Now they're walking off the field. They're going to have to burn a timeout here? Or are they going to take the penalty and accept that the field goal is going to be 5 yards longer?
No, I believe they're resetting it. No, they're going to get the delay of
game. They are going
to
call the delay of game.
Man, how many of those have they had tonight? This is, they've definitely got to fix that. That's a problem.
In spots where it just hasn't made sense to get a delay of game. So that makes the field goal 5 yards longer. Left hash, a 33-yarder here for Angel Diaz. He's got range out to 45 to 50, so this should be well within his range. Foot on it, kick is good. And DeSoto is on the board, 27-3. Now the score as Diaz splits the uprights from 33 yards out. Not the touchdown drive that the Eagles needed, but they're on the board. It's a step. Still a long way to go here on Friday Night Football.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Y'all-itics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas. So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans.
Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand.
This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else.
Not to brag,
Just to brag a little bit.
okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines.
Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads.
And still counting.
So the DeSoto Eagles drive down the field and get a field goal from Angel Diaz from 33 yards out. And it's 27-3 now, the tally, with 3 minutes and 55 seconds left here in quarter number 3. Heckman, there's not enough time left for them to be kicking field goals to get back in this football game.
No, there really isn't. I mean, that's respectable. You make it, which is great, right? But your defense, they come out and they get a stop. You get the ball back. Obviously, you want points. You want to put 6, 7 on the board, but 3 just won't do it. And what I'm more concerned about than anything, Mike, is the delay of games.
Mm-hmm. Kickoff return comes near sideline out to the 33-yard line for Davion Blewett.
Blewett on the return, brought down by number 2. Came in
So now DeSoto's defense has to come up with a stop again here. They did their part early on here in this third quarter, coming out and getting a stop. Wasn't a 3-and-out, but they didn't allow Duncanville to get too much progress downfield before they got the stop. But they're going to need to do that many more times here in this second half. Handoff coming near side, knifing through to make the tackle is DeMichael Porter. And Caden Durham hasn't had as much of an easy run at things in this second half so far.
And that's a good job by DeMichael Porter. He's tracking that inside hip. And there's a flag on the play. It's going to be against the Panthers.
They're looking to Claude Mathis on the far side to see whether or not he wants to take the result of the play or the penalty. Still sorting things out. They're walking everybody backwards, so it looks like they're going to take the penalty. Never mind. He's going to decline the penalty. It's been a little herky-jerky with
no, it really
some
has.
elements of this football game. There have been some DeSoto fans that have been unhappy with the officiating in this football game.
I know they are.
Misdirection. That ball's loose and picked up by DeSoto. How did that football end up in the hands of Kiki Abrams, and it's 1st and goal Eagles?
And it was this exchange from Keelan Russell. They're in the RPO, and the ball just comes out. I believe Caden Durham believes that Keelan Russell is pulling that ball out, and he just lets it fall out of the breadbasket. And that is the turnover that the DeSoto Eagles need. Kiki Abrams, Mr. Johnny on the spot, probably really wished that he could have scored that touchdown and not left it up to his offense.
I think that Caden Durham thought Keelan Russell was going to keep the football.
He did.
And just kind of let it go,
He
thinking
did.
that it was staying with 12. It didn't. Ball on the deck bounced right up to Kiki Abrams. And on 1st and goal, the handoff here for Tiger Ryden. Pulled down at the 4 after a gain of 2.
No, it totally was on the exchange. And that happens so much in this read pass offense.
Tell you what, give credit there to Tiger Ryden because it looked like he was down at the 4. Timeout for an injury on the field as a Duncanville Panther is down. That's Keytron Simpson. Ryden kept his shoulder up, it looked like, and stayed up to get all the way down to the 2-yard line. Look at this one more time.
Goodness.
He's on top of bodies that whole time, and the DeSoto offensive line realized it and picked him up and kind of helped him keep going there. And he's down to the 2. It'll be 2nd down and goal from there. Meanwhile, Keytron Simpson being tended to by the Duncanville training staff. We've seen some cramps tonight. The way they're working on him, it seems that may be what he's dealing with, and good to see him walk off under his own power.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a knee. He got his leg trapped underneath him. But good to see Keytron up and walking off.
Comment in the YouTube feed from Small E says, this is where dreams end for DeSoto. They just can't get in the end zone. We have seen that all night tonight. We'll see if this is maybe finally the moment where things are different here for the Eagles and if they can finally put 6 points on the board. Kiki Abrams with the fumble recovery just a moment ago on the fumble by Keelan Russell and Caden Durham kind of together. And now 2nd and goal from the 2 for DJ Bailey. Handoff, Tiger Ryden running behind his right guard, and he's in. The DeSoto Eagles finally in the end zone tonight, and with 2:42 to play in the 3rd quarter, they cut into the lead a bit further.
Boy, did this DeSoto Eagles squad need those points right there. And they had been in just despair on offense and not being able to get anything going, getting all the way down into the red zone 3 times, 2 times not able to come away with points, and then the 3rd time, that field goal just looked like raising the white flag for the DeSoto Eagles. Man, and then their fate changes on a mishandle on the RPO, and here they are now down by 17. If they can just get back on defense and continue this trek with 2:42 in the 3rd, they still have another quarter to go.
The DeSoto Eagles with life. DeAndre Ryden in the end zone, and it's 27-10, late 3rd on Friday Night Football. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff.
Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, a special Thursday night broadcast as Lovejoy and Melissa play for a district championship. Thursday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
Back in Duncanville on Friday Night Football, some comments in the YouTube chat feed saying, why doesn't DeSoto go for 2 there and make it a 2-score game? Had they converted and made it 27-11, then it's a 16-point game, 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions tie the football game.
It's easier said than done. It's easy to do on Madden, right?
That's
when
right.
You're out here, it's the 3rd quarter. You still got plenty of time, and obviously they want to make this up. Is this mishandled?
The mishandled kickoff, but creates a gash, and here he goes right up the middle of the field. Makes the kicker miss, and it's a foot race. Out across the 40-yard line into DeSoto territory goes Lontrell Turner. And whatever momentum DeSoto had started to build up, Lontrell Turner says, I'm going to squash you.
Oh, my God. And Lontrell Turner's really lucky. He mismanages this ball in the end zone as the DeSoto Eagles kickoff team is coming right at him. And, man, look at him just squirt through those guys. And, man, what a move on the kicker. I mean, the kicker, the last line of defense, is clearly shook out of his spat right there. My God. Woof. You got to ask yourself, man, did you at least get the number on that bus? Because he did not have an opportunity to get close to him.
Jamarian Ravenel for DeSoto chased him down to prevent the touchdown. First down throw near side here for Decorian Moore. The wide receiver screen gets him down to the 31-yard line. Some extracurriculars after the play once again here as a DeSoto player was into the Duncanville sideline.
Yeah, the chippiness hadn't stopped. It hadn't gone away. I mean, this.
No.
Yeah, you best guarantee that these guys are still chomping at the bit. The Eagles have been embarrassed this first half, and they are trying to get back in it. But right there, you just saw a Panther blocking to the echo of the whistle. And as a defender, you just hate that. You just absolutely hate a guy blocking you to the sideline like that.
2nd down and 3, handoff Durham. He'll have the first down to the 26-yard line. So now again, this DeSoto defense put in a tough spot where they need to step up. We've seen them do it twice now in this second half, getting the stop on the opening series, then the fumble recovery by Kiki Abrams. Now they need another big play.
Yeah, Caden Durham he is an outstanding running back. Just a junior, but every time he gets the ball, even when he's in traffic, he's almost running like he's running with no one around him. You know, it's just something about his running style that says that he's about to take it yard.
4 wides here for Russell on 1st and 10. Pressured. Gets away. Flag flies. That's in the area of a hold once again here on the Duncanville offensive line. You mentioned Caden Durham. Claude Mathis said it to us, the head coach from DeSoto. He's the best player on the Duncanville offense. It is indeed a hold here on the Panthers offensive line. Apparently also, though, a hold on the DeSoto defense, so those penalties will offset, and they will replay.
Yes.
They will replay first down. He made sure that we knew that both of those penalties were offsetting.
Yes.
And it'll be 1st down and 10 all over again. But, yeah, Mathis said he's the best player on that Duncanville offense, and he's got a lot of people coming. Oklahoma, Alabama, TCU, SMU, Wisconsin, 13 different scholarship offers. Lots of schools want number 29 there on your screen to come play football for them.
He's a different runner. He has a different style. Like I said, Mike, it's always like he's running for daylight, and he does it in between the tackles and outside. Can't say enough about him, but boy, look at that
Lontrell Turner flipping his way for a gain of 5. Woo! Watch this again on the little pop pass.
Yikes.
Whee!
Hey, you do that at a trampoline park, not at Panther Stadium.
Tell you what, good to see Lontrell Turner just pop back up and get ready for the next play, because that's the kind of situation where you can get hurt.
Man, that's that young body, boy. That's those young bones, you know.
He picked up 4 officially on the play. 2nd down and 6. Final 30 seconds here of quarter number 3. Handoff and a big gash on the far sideline, and here goes Caden Durham again inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal to Duncanville.
He's so tough. He is so tough. Look at this. And he's just gearing down. He's being patient, and then he sees daylight and he opens it up. I mean, he has so many different speeds that he runs with. And his vision, I guess you don't say enough about it. You know, he has such great vision. And he's not one of those running backs that's, you know, trying to give you too many juke moves. He really is a guy that's one step and go. And, man, here we go into the 4th quarter, Mike. This is it. It's money time. Everybody's holding up 4s at Panther Stadium.
10 points on the board for DeSoto in the 3rd to make it a bit closer, but Duncanville with 1st and goal when we return for the 4th quarter of Friday Night Football.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Yolitics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas. So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans.
Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand.
This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else.
Not to brag.
Just to brag a little bit.
Okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines.
Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads.
And still counting.
27-10, the Duncanville Panthers, the number 3 team in the state, with the lead as we begin the 4th, and the rain has returned here in Duncanville. We played darn close to 3 full quarters, Heckman, without having to deal with it, but it has returned. And if you're Claude Mathis, you're probably thinking right on time.
Thank you, weather gods.
I beg your pardon, Reginald Samples. Did I say Claude Mathis? Reginald. If you're Reginald Samples, you're very happy about the rain. Claude Mathis probably not so much. 1st and goal out of the quarter break here from the 6. Handoff Durham. Hunting number 5. Taken down at the 3.
You know, he has one of those running styles that transfers to every district. I mean, and even at the next level, you know, he is just one of those guys. Doesn't matter where he goes, he's going to be successful as a running back because of his style. You know, he's not taking a lot of direct hits. He's so slippery. Hadn't seen one guy get a good shot on him at all. So that just means he's very conscious of that. I mean, he has a mean stiff arm, but man, he is a one-cut kind of guy.
Second down and goal, one cut goes right into the chest of a defender. It'll be 3rd and goal from about the 2.5.
So many great young running backs in high school football, man. You just look over the the nationally ranked guys. There's a guy, Dylan Edwards, in Wichita, Kansas. He's going to Notre Dame, but you talk about a kid that is just like this kid. You know, he is a one-cut go kind of running back, and I give that credit because his dad played with me at Kansas State. But I just want to tell you, he's got a son that's really good, man, and it's somebody that you got to watch. Number 1 in the nation.
Duncanville is going to burn their first time out here in the second half. So now both teams with 2 remaining here in the second half of this football game. 10:41 to play in the fourth, 27-10. The Panthers with the lead. Again, 4 first half Caden Durham touchdown runs to give Duncanville a 27-zip lead at the break. DeSoto getting an Angel Diaz 33-yard field goal and a DeAndre Ryden 2-yard touchdown run after the fumble recovery by Kiki Abrams to get back into this football game at least a little bit. But Duncanville, out of this timeout, will have 3rd down and goal from the about 2.5-yard line. And again, Heckma, DeSoto's defense has to step up.
Yeah, and did you say that Durham has about 300 yards now?
He is inching closer. He is now at 15 carries for 284 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Okay,
yeah.
Good deal. And I just figured that he'd already got to 300, but you're right.
Seeing as how he had 265 in the first half.
You know, the DeSoto Eagle defense has got to be asking themselves, what did we ever do to deserve this? I mean, they come out, they get a stop, they kick the ball off, they finally get a score. They kick the ball off on what looks like a botched return. That gets rattled off to, positive yards, favorable for the Panthers.
Out of the timeout, 3rd down and goal. Motion man across the formation is Kenny. Handoff, Durham into the pile, pushing the pile. Still pushing the pile. They're going to mark him short. The far side line judge has him at the 2-yard line, well short of the goal line. It's going to be 4th and goal.
And they are keeping them out there. Those Samples is not going to kick a field goal. There they go.
Is this the field goal unit, or is this just the heavy unit coming on the field? They've got Alex January coming on the football field.
If Alex January is coming on the field,
they've got Jabrion Peters coming on the football field.
I'm going to vote for the heavy package if January walks on the field, period.
They've got Vernon Grant on the field. That's Deshaun Bryant running on last minute. They're going to have Caleb Kenny take the direct snap here.
Got 3 seconds. 2, 1. They got to call timeout. They just didn't get him out there on time. And I think now they're going to go with the field goal unit. I believe they will, but maybe not. They are going for the juggler.
I don't see anybody warming up to kick a field goal.
I don't either. I hadn't seen anybody warming up to kick a field goal in a while, all right? So
I haven't seen much of the Duncanville special teams period in this football game, if we're being honest. But
what do you mean?
Come out, kick an occasional PAT. And
do they have a punter is the question. Do they have a punter on this team?
In fact, it's their sophomore wide receiver, DeCorian Moore. He's their punter.
Stop it.
Reginald Samples said he is a ridiculous athlete in a lot of different ways, including the fact that he can punt the football. We haven't seen him have to do it but once tonight. But
hey, tell me you don't plan on punting without telling me you don't plan on punting. Okay. Who's your punter, Coach? Yeah, my wide receiver. He's a great athlete, by the way.
Yeah. So back they come with the heavy package.
Wow.
It's Kenny and Durham together in the backfield. They motion 2 guys to the left. Direct snap to Durham, lowers his shoulder, dives forward, he's in. Touchdown number 5 of the day for Caden Durham.
He just cannot be stopped. He too much, man. He is too much. Look at this, and he is just running over.
He had to fight for it, too.
Yeah,
that was close.
No, Brandon Booker was on him. He was making that tackle, but Caden Durham would not be denied.
A 5th touchdown run on the day for Caden Durham. This one the shortest of the bunch, just a 2-yarder. And you can see right there Lontrell Turner counting them out for him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdown runs for Caden Durham, the junior running back. And Duncanville back up by 23. And they look to make it 24 here with the extra point. And they do. 34-10. The Duncanville Panthers reestablishing a bit of control here early on in the 4th on Friday Night Football. To the end zone for South Oak Cliff.
Our brand new color commentator, Heckma Harrison. Heckma, welcome to the team.
Man, I'm excited.
Touchdown, Randy Reed.
Next week, a special Thursday night broadcast as Lovejoy and Melissa play for a district championship. Thursday at 7:30 on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA Plus.
$33 points on the board for the Duncanville, beg your pardon, 34 points on the board for the Duncanville Panthers. 30 of them courtesy of Caden Durham. 5 touchdown runs on the day. His first of the second half is now officially on the board. And Duncanville back up by 24 with 9:57 to play.
Yeah, he is outstanding. We talked about how DeSoto could get back in this game. The one part of that was making sure you stop Caden Durham. So they've done everything else besides stop number 29.
So Duncanville to kick it away. A little squib kick up the near side. Fielded at the 24-yard line by Dalen Singleton. He's going to run to the far sideline and try and find an alley. Hog-tied and wrestled down at the 37-yard line. And back comes this DeSoto offense. They finally found the end zone on their previous possession. The 2-yard touchdown run from DeAndre Ryden, taking advantage of the Kiki Abrams fumble recovery. Now they've got to go 63 yards to find pay dirt once again, and they probably, Heckman, need to do it quite quickly.
Yeah, have to do it quite quickly and probably have to do it throwing the ball. And now this driving rain has started back in Duncanville, and the wind has picked up as well. So if you were going to try and get anything going in the pass game, you probably had to do that 3 quarters ago.
They hand it off to begin the possession. But there's a good look at just how nasty it has gotten here in Duncanville once again. Man, I remember playing and stuff like this, and I played the position of quarterback, and I can empathize right now with DJ Bailey. This is not fun to try and throw the ball around in.
No, and I never really cared for quarterbacks and what they wanted, and so therefore I love playing in the rain. It was the greatest part of playing football, man. You have that driving rain. You knew that they had to run the ball. I mean, it took a lot of the guesswork out of it, and if they did throw it, it was going to be something short. So defensively for this Duncanville Panthers team, it's like, oh yeah, baby.
It's like Christmas morning right now.
It's Christmas morning, yeah, because
you got a driving rain and you got a 24-point lead, and you know that they're going to have to put the ball in the air. Colin Simmons and Alex January and Jabrion Peters are just, hey, take off and meet at the quarterback.
That's it. And you know, one thing too is DJ Bailey is throwing a wet ball, and quarterbacks hate that, man. You know, you have to be conditioned to that. So now that's the one thing that changes all of this. You're throwing a wet ball and trying to get away from a defense that now is just, they know that it is chum in the water.
Jabrion Peters getting his hands on some chum. There's a holding penalty against DeSoto as well. That'll be declined, and the 3rd down sack brings out the punt unit for the DeSoto Eagles. Down 24, under 8.5 to play here in the 4th. And the Duncanville Panthers look like they're well on their way to a district championship.
No, and well-deserved. They are so tough. You know, we asked the question when we got an opportunity to speak with Coach Reginald Samples, just asking him, how does this team compare? You have to ask that question to someone that has coached the amount of years that he has with all the talented teams that he's coached. And he said, man, these guys are right up there.
Yeah.
You know, right up there. He's had some good teams, and he named the state team that got beat on the Hail Mary pass. He's like, Heckman, that's one of the best teams I've ever had. You know? But these guys are right up there. By position, these young guys. And he just pointed out, he's just like, look, I got some young guys that I'm so excited about, but, man, they're right up there as far as the talent. And that's saying a mouthful.
Mm-hmm. To that point, Angel Barron in the YouTube comment says, can Duncanville beat North Shore this year? We saw North Shore last night come back to beat Atascocita in another one of the games of the week across the state of Texas. North Shore ranked number 1 in the state right now.
I don't know.
It's hard not to look at what Duncanville has done tonight against a very, very talented DeSoto team and wonder, should the Panthers not be ranked higher than even 3 where they are right now? Nothing doing there on the first play of the offensive series as the ball was handed off to Caleb Kenny.
You know, the unfortunate part sometimes is that we're seeing these games up here in North Texas, right? Mm-hmm. And those Houston teams, that even I think 6A, I think Shadow Creek is now in 6A. I don't know this to be sure, but there's still Shadow Creek teams that come in and play. You don't see a lot of those guys, and when they show up at AT&T Stadium, you're like, who is this, right? North Shore is number 1 in state. They have to come back versus Atascocita, but a lot of people up here don't see them week in and week out, like you see a DeSoto, like you see a Duncanville, like you see a Denton Geyer team, even though they're in a different district. I mean, in a division difference. So, I mean, honestly, I'm sure that North Shore has a really, really tough ball club. And when they do meet at AT&T Stadium, it is going to be a dogfight.
Player down here for Duncanville. They're working on what appears to be the left knee. Is that Caleb Kenny who was just carrying the football? He's so surrounded by bodies, it's hard to say definitively if that's him or not. Kiki Abrams kind of hung on for the ride, and you see that, oh, wow.
Ouch.
You see that left knee kind of buckle for him, and he grabbed forward immediately. That is the last thing that you want to see. Caleb Kenny, the senior running back, he and Caden Durham are kind of the tandem there in the backfield for the Panthers. Obviously, Durham has done the lion's share of the work tonight, but Kenny, a quality back for them that has 3 rushing touchdowns on the year and having to be carried off the field right now.
Yeah, you can't put any weight on it, and that is not a good sign. And honestly, that's really tough for a young man like that, and you're playing behind a junior that is just really everything. You're coming in, you're getting your yardage, and a guy is just laying on you, and you saw his knee taking that awkward turn. So, man, hopefully he's going to be okay.
Out of the injury stoppage, it'll be 3rd down and a short 5 here. It's Russell in shotgun. 2 wide receivers to his left. Handoff Durham. Another big hole, and there goes Caden Durham again. Taken down at the 41-yard line. Nice job by Cayman Mathis to make sure it wasn't another house call, but what a job this Duncanville offensive line has done tonight, just creating gashes in the defense.
Yeah, it really has been this offensive line and the job that they've done up front. I mean, you know, and it was something when we talked with Coach Samples about his offensive line. Not that he downplayed it. He's like, I got a good offensive line. These guys do a good job. And that is a guy that you don't want to see laying on the ground, that's for sure.
That looked more like a cramp, the way he kind of ambled over. That seemed to me. He didn't seem to be in too much distress, just, hey, I got to get this thing worked out. Handoff once again, and right up the middle goes another Duncanville running back. It's Lontrell Turner. Throw the wide receiver at running back. He'll find the gashes too, deep into DeSoto territory inside the 15.
And I said earlier in the first half that Lontrell Turner is more of a running back than he is a wide receiver. At 5'11", 180 pounds, you have him in the slot, but his ability in short area quickness is outstanding. And you can line him up at running back. You see the speed on display immediately from number 1, Lontrell Turner.
Sets up 1st and 10 at the 15, and with 5.5 minutes left in this football game, Duncanville trying to put the finishing touches on it. Handoff for Turner once again, and a little more short area quickness for you. Breaking away inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line.
He's still going. Who else do they have? Who else do they? Mike, you want to go down there and take a carry? Because I'm telling you, this offensive line is opening up some pretty big holes.
Heck, I'm pretty slow, but I'm telling you what, with how big the holes are, I might be able to find something.
Goodness, they are opening up some holes, man. This is a good job by this offensive line.
They mark him just shy of the line to gain. It'll be 2nd down and 1. Handoff this time for Nehemiah Borner, and he's in. Touchdown Duncanville, one more on the board, and showing off the dance moves is Nehemiah Borner, the sophomore. Duncanville with a 40-burger tonight.
I'm telling you, they're just running out different guys. Nehemiah doing a good job using his vision. Anytime you go behind this left side of the Duncanville Panthers offensive line, you are going to have some success. Josiah Drake, the guy that has 7 offers, he is an Austin P commit. And, 6'3", 270 pounds, doing a wonderful job as clearing out things, not only for Barner, but, man, been doing a really good job for Durham.
So the extra point here from Sebastian Benitez to tack one more on the board. Snap is perfect. Kick is through. And it's 41-0. 41-10 rather. Duncanville with the lead. Caden Durham with the first 5. Nehemiah Borner finding the end zone as this offensive line from Duncanville continues to just maul.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Yolitics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas. So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans.
Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand.
This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else.
Not to brag,
But just to brag a little bit.
okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines.
Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads.
And still counting.
Back in Duncanville, the Panthers well on their way to 6-0 in District 11 6A play and a district title. The number 3 team in the state showing tonight that perhaps they deserve for that number to be a shade smaller.
Boy, what a dominating performance, and I don't think anyone could have envisioned this.
I did not see this coming.
This is I don't think at any point, I think when they cut it to 17, you kind of thought that there was a little bit of life there. And then all of a sudden, the Panthers shut the door back again. And you said it on that kickoff. If there was any hope, they pretty much left that. They laid waste to it.
Marvin Duffy scrambled to get on top of that squib kick to make sure that the Eagles would have possession. Diving in there for Duncanville was Solomon Charles trying to make a play of it. 4:33 left here in the 4th, and back comes DJ Bailey in this DeSoto offense.
DJ Bailey, someone we talked about at length in the open, about his ability is just to throw the ball. His receivers haven't had a lot of success. And you know, for the Panthers, they have had to have been licking their chops for the opportunity to see Jonte Cook. They know who he is.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they know who he is. And both of these corners, Lamadrick Spencer and Keldrick Madison, have played lights out against one of the best wide receivers in the nation.
Handoff here for Wisner running right side. Good cutback. Good job to stay on his feet and pick up 6 or 7 there.
Fortunately, it looks like Reisner is down.
We've seen some unfortunate injuries here late in this football game. In a 41-10 game, which only makes it that much worse. That not that you ever want to see a guy get hurt, but when it's in the throes of a tightly contested football game, I mean, these things happen. It's football. You're going to have some injuries.
Yes.
It's not just a contact sport. It is a collision sport. It happens, but when it's in this circumstance, it stings a little more because, I mean, realistically, this game is over. For somebody to get hurt at this stage of the game is really unfortunate. Wisner back on his feet now. The senior transfer from Waco Connolly, a UT commit. Give you an idea of just how deep DeSoto is offensively with their skill positions. A 4-star UT commit is their second-string running back behind DeAndre Ryden, who is a spectacular sophomore. And they've also got Jaden Trawick, who's a fantastic running back as well, that can carry it for him.
And I love that combination from both him, Ryden and Wisner. A good 1-2 punch.
Handoff up the middle. Will have enough for the first down on forward progress there. Marvin Duffy on the carry, the young man who just recovered the squib kick.
They've just come up against a Panthers defense that is just too tough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, too tough inside, man. They have so many big bodies to take on the run. They get pressure with those 4 guys up front, and Colin Simmons is the real deal. That's what I come away with tonight saying. You know, number 8 is the real deal. And this time next year, I can't even imagine what kind of player Colin Simmons is going to be going into his senior season.
Carry for 2 there. 3 minutes left in this football game. We do appreciate you joining us on the WFA News at 10. DeSoto and Duncanville winding down here. Duncanville has controlled this football game significantly. Marvin Duffy with the handoff right up the middle, and Marvin Duffy in a foot race to the end zone. He will score. Touchdown DeSoto. A nice run from Marvin Duffy from 39 yards out.
And that's a good, strong run from number 33, Marvin Duffy, coming in, running that thing in between the guard and the tackle. It may be too little too late for DeSoto, but they're happy to put those points on the board.
Even with an extra point, you're still talking about being down 3 scores. It
Right.
is all but assuredly too little too late, but makes the final score a bit more respectable. But
Right.
It has been a dominant performance tonight from the Duncanville Panthers.
No, Mike, come on now. It really has. It's just the Panthers have put it on them. We talked a little bit about the shock of the outcome of this game because you know that DeSoto is a better team than this. And so you have to – the question you ask yourself tonight is Duncanville just that good, or did we overestimate DeSoto? And I think both things can't be true at the same time, but sometimes maybe in this case it is. You know, I just think that, man, Duncanville's tough.
It's interesting because if you look at the games that they've played against common opponents and good football, like look at the good football teams that both of these teams have played. They've both played South Oak Cliff. They've both played Waxahachie. They've both DeSoto hasn't played Mansfield yet. They have Mansfield next week to wrap up the regular season. So Waxahachie and South Oak Cliff are your 2 main data points. DeSoto beat Waxahachie by 18. Duncanville beat Waxahachie by 17. DeSoto beat South Oak Cliff by 19. Duncanville beat South Oak Cliff by 13. There's a lot of reason to have thought coming into this football game that these two teams were on pretty even footing. Duncanville has shown rather clearly tonight that that's not the case. It's a little hard to explain what has happened tonight because Duncanville has perhaps the weather impact on this football game, even though we didn't see as much rain as we thought we were going to see. Right. It was still a wet environment and a wet football, and that certainly makes passing the football harder. I'm not going to say that that's going to make 24 points worth of difference. Believe me, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not. Let me be 100% clear. I am not saying that. But you do wonder, if it were a dry environment, does that make the game at least a hair different? Honestly, the credit has to go to this Duncanville defense. What they did in that first half, those two big fourth down stops inside their own 10-yard line are the difference in this football game. If DeSoto's able to finish those drives with 6 points, this is a different football game.
It is.
Not a different outcome. Again, not trying to go there. But it's a game that plays out far differently than what we saw tonight. It's not 27-0 at halftime. Maybe it's 27-14.
Right.
But then if you see 10 points in the third quarter from DeSoto, and all of a sudden, hey, it's a game. That's a lot. You're trying to really talk your way into DeSoto being in this football game.
Yeah.
And when it requires that much talking, that's how dominant Duncanville was tonight. But I don't know that there is... I don't know that if you're DeSoto, you look at this and go, oh, we're nowhere near the football team we thought we were as they go into the playoffs. I think they still have in 6AD2, which you made the point earlier, is not any easier per se than 6AD1, but maybe a hair.
Yeah.
Not much, but maybe a hair. You're not going to have as many supreme football teams in 6AD2 as you do in 6AD1. I think we're still, put it this way, I think we're still pointing toward a DeSoto-Denton-Guyer state semifinal. I don't think I've been moved off of that belief tonight.
And we've seen Denton-Guyer.
Yes, we have.
And based off of that offense and that quarterback and that defense.
Here's where I have changed tonight. Coming into tonight, I would have told you that I would have picked DeSoto in that football game. That is one thing where I've now flipped tonight.
Okay.
Now I'm saying I would take Denton-Guyer in that football game. If that's indeed how this all plays out and those two teams end up meeting in a state semifinal, that's where I have flipped, as the carry goes on the far sideline there for, once again, Nehemiah Borner. Flag flies in late in the play as Duncanville looks to just work off these final 108 seconds of this football game. So that's maybe one calibration, I guess, from this game where I've kind of flip-flopped a little bit.
And I think, look, here's the thing that really doesn't have me concerned, Mike, but I think that if you're the DeSoto Eagles, you came into this game with it being a measuring stick game. You wanted to know how you measured up, okay?
Yeah.
And man, you gotta really throw this tape away. I don't even know how you get anything positive out of this as a club. Like, do you go in and you look at the film and what positive do you have to come out of this? It's not a lot to go to because you shot yourself in the foot. Not only as players, but I think as coaches, they have got to take some of the onus as well. Those delay of games, those are on them. Mm-hmm. You know, so look, they've got to be better, and that's really the thing that is surprising for me, because you know that Coach Mathis came into this game looking at it like, I want to see, do my guys measure up to Duncanville, and I think they fell woefully short here tonight.
After the penalty, 2nd down and a mile, and they drive him back here on the carry once again by Borner. Both teams getting some reserves in there late in this football game, as Duncanville obviously in firm control. We talked about DeSoto's path and the likelihood that they meet up with Guyer in the state semifinals. Again, I still think that that's a very realistic possibility. For Duncanville, their path within 6A Region 2 without DeSoto there, honestly, looks not clear, but looks manageable. Waxahachie is certainly a team. Waxahachie gave Duncanville a pretty good football game this year. 24-7 was the final in that one. Duncanville took control late in that football game to pull away a little bit, but that was a good football game. that might be your Region 2 final in 6A Division 1. So their path is interesting as well. One thing we know, though, for certain, their path to a district championship is clear. 6-0 after tonight in District 11 6A as they get the 41-17 win over the DeSoto Eagles to move to 8-0 on the year.
Ladies and gentlemen, your final score, DeSoto 17, Duncanville.
And what a game.
What a performance from the Duncanville Panthers. That was a dominant performance from the jump. They did allow DeSoto for a moment to creep back into it there in the third, but only just a little bit, and then slammed the door shut again early on in the fourth quarter. This was a complete performance from Duncanville.
No, it was. And, Mike, I want to give credit where credit is due to both of these teams. I'm really impressed by the performance that I saw from Duncanville. You know that the DeSoto Eagles, they have a ton of great athletes on their side, a lot of 4-star, a lot of 5-star guys. They played a wonderful game. Look, it was chippy, but nothing got out of control as both of these teams meet in the middle of the field and, hey, just give a wave at one another. And look, for DeSoto, they just have to go back to the drawing board and be better next time. They didn't get the district title that they wanted. They wanted this game, and they came up short here, but that does not diminish the athletic ability of the guys that they have. I mean, DJ Bailey and his stats are amazing. Jonte Cook is one of the absolute best wide receivers in the state, hands down, bar none. There is no questioning that. I mean, but on the other side when you talk about the Duncanville Panthers, they're loaded across the front.
Yeah.
Keytron Simpson, Alex January, Jabrion Peters, Colin Simmons. That front four, number 8, 55, 11, and 10.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck. Okay, good luck with these guys. And look, on the corners, Keldrick Madison and Lamadrick Spencer, these guys are really good. And these linebackers, this whole defense, and that defensive coordinator, Ramel Borner, he called one heck of a game today. All right, for high school defensive coordinator, you better put this guy's name in the hat and start looking at him, because he is doing some wonderful things with this defense, and the way that he shut this DeSoto Eagles offense down was a masterpiece tonight.
Yes, it was. Ramel Borner, a former player for Reginald Samples, similar to yourself, Heckma Harrison. And Coach Samples told us that, hey, he's been grooming himself for this job and looking toward this opportunity to be their defensive coordinator. And he's had the opportunity now to take over here recently. And like you said, what a job he did. I saw a comment from somebody in the YouTube feed saying that DeSoto just played a bad game tonight. And I think there's probably something to that. I think if you were to ask Claude Mathis right now, he would tell you, hey, we played poorly tonight.
Right.
I think he's right about that. I think you also, though, would need to say that part of the reason for that is what Ramel Borner's defense did to them, because they shut everything down.
Yeah, you had help. they helped to play bad. So, all of that sounds good in theory, but, yeah, you got to be real with yourself when you look at the job that this defense did. And they were laying some shots. I just go back to the Lamadrick Spencer hit on the sideline, Mathis, and you kept asking, why are they throwing that over there? That's not going to get them any success at all. But they were trying to stretch this defense out, and pretty soon you see that these guys, doesn't matter what position, how small in stature, how big they are, this is an aggressive, hard-hitting defense, and all 11 of these guys are coming to the ball carrier, and they are trying to deliver a shot. And so, man, I am so impressed with this 2022 Duncanville Panthers team. And, I know that we have some questions about North Shore. Yeah. I can't
That's
wait.
the question to ask right now.
That is the question to ask. And
after you put a performance like this on the field, it's going to be hard not to point directly to AT&T Stadium and a possible fourth meeting in a state championship game with North Shore.
Yeah, that's just, boy, it's so much, that's just heavy. It's just heavy. That matchup, these guys have seen each other so many times, and North Shore owns that matchup. So, let's see what they've done to make this better. And I think the difference maker in that is going to be one Todd Peterman. I think that offensive coordinator is the difference.
He did a job tonight. Let's dig into that just for a moment before we sign off tonight, because what Duncanville did offensively, obviously a lot of it, the credit has to go to their offensive line. Josiah Drake, Jerry Scales, Noah Ponce, Damian Martinez, Ben Whitfield, all five of you deserve to have your name said on our broadcast tonight because they moved bodies around all night long and are a big part of why Duncanville won this football game. That said, there were also some moments tonight where Duncanville very clearly schemed up a situation and created an advantage for their football team. And a lot of that comes back to exactly what you're talking about, Todd Peterman, the former DeSoto head coach, who's now Duncanville's offensive coordinator.
No, and obviously when you have a running game like the one you have with Caden Durham, it gives you a luxury that a lot of teams don't have. You know, you have a guy that can get you those yards, but also Lontrell Turner. Okay, number one, he operates. I called him a running back in the first half. Yeah. You saw him; he took some carries, but he is a shifty guy. He's one of those receivers that it doesn't matter if he has two defenders barreling down on him. He can always make a move to escape. DeCorian Moore, he is as good a wide receiver as there is in the nation. And he has some possession receptions as well that really, you ask yourself, when they needed to make a throw, Keelan Russell looked really comfortable in the pocket throwing to his guys. And so I think that's the difference in the past. When you had Duncanville squads, you ask yourself, could they actually make those throws? Now you see them doing that with ease, and that's the thing that makes me so comfortable to say, if they see these guys, some of these tougher opponents like North Shore in the state title, I think this is a different they're stylistically different than what you've seen before, and their offensive coordinator does that for them.
Meanwhile, for DeSoto, we talked a little bit about Claude Matheson. I mean, he said to us earlier this week that he felt like this was their best chance to get Duncanville. Obviously, tonight didn't go the way that they wanted it to go. But this is a DeSoto team that a few years ago was a little bit of a tough spot. They have now climbed their way back into the state's top 10 rankings, and they've climbed their way back into having 4-star and 5-star athletes all over the football field. They now need to gather themselves after a game like this, but looking forward for this team, is there a way that tonight can help them? Is there a way that is there anything positive that they can take from tonight? Maybe not from the film necessarily, perhaps from a motivational standpoint for Claude Mathis's team to then rally and go to work in the postseason.
You play football long enough, you get your butt whooped. Okay? It's going to happen. It doesn't matter. If you play a contact sport, sooner or later, somebody's going to get you. And trust me, would Coach Reginald Samples rather take a loss here than go to the state title and take a butt whooping? I'm sure he'd rather get it here at home, okay? Because you play this game long enough, you're going to get it, all right? I think you go back and you say to yourself, look, we took a lick, guys. That doesn't define the season, and obviously we have a lot to build on, a lot of momentum that we can take into the playoffs. Look, you just forget about it, man. You put that thing in the rear view. You don't talk about it over and over again and relive it. You lost. Okay, you can't do it again. All right, this football game will never come back to be played this way ever again. But you do get an opportunity to go forward with a new future. And I mean, everything is still in front of them. This isn't one of those games that you had an asterisk next to as a playoff game.
That's right.
This is a regular season game. You didn't get the district title, but guess what? You still get an opportunity to go to the playoffs. And I think that as I stated, and I went over the list of players that they have a ton of good players on this team. So they got a lot of they have a lot of youth as well. We pointed to the youth that the Panthers have, so do the DeSoto Eagles. And so, look, Coach Claude Mathis, the future is bright for both of these head coaches. And, man, I look for both of these teams to go far. DeSoto has what they're looking at right now, if possibly going to D2, it's favorable for them. And I think anybody that sees DeSoto in their bracket, they're going to be scared to see the Eagles.
DeSoto in 6AD2 is dangerous. There's no two ways about it. Next week on Friday Night Football, a district championship game once again. The Melissa Cardinals on the road against the number 10 team in the state in 5AD2, the Lovejoy Leopards. We hope you'll join us for a special Thursday night edition of Friday Night Football next Thursday at 7:30 right here on the WFAA YouTube channel and WFAA+. For our entire Friday Night Football crew, Director Clay Marshall, photographers Graham Rayner and Jeremy Taub, digital coordinators Nick Blackhall and Paul Wedding, graphics coordinators Nick Blackhall and Emil Moralva, and the one and only Heckma Harrison alongside with Heckma Jr. in the booth with us tonight. We appreciate you being here tonight as well. I'm Mike Leslie. So long from Duncanville. The final score, one last time, 41-17. The Duncanville Panthers led by 309 yards and 5 touchdown runs on just 19 carries from Caden Durham to take the District 11 6A championship. All our Friday Night Football broadcasts stream live and are archived in perpetuity on the WFAA YouTube channel and on the WFAA Plus app. This has been a proud presentation of WFAA TV.